Oh no. Ah, I did it again. This has been me for the last couple minutes. Like, wow. Boom. Yeah, let's go. I'm so fucking tired. Hold on. Lights back on. Here we go. There we go. Hi everybody. Oh, how is everyone? Everybody, I hope, is having a wonderful day, a fantastic time, filled with only good things forever. Only good things forever. Hi, June. OMG, here so early. True. Yeah, hello, everybody. Yeah, lens cap. I do that regularly. I put the cap on and then I sometimes forget until the stream goes live. Hi, everybody in the YouTube chat. Ethereal Epic. I don't know if I've seen your name before. Guzman Jones, hello. We got Mabs, Alicorn, June, like I said earlier. Kent wasn't able to stick around, but that's okay. We've got Michelle as well. And then, of course, on the website, we've got Drea, hello, Psycho Plebalian, Gayfesh, what is up, and Nuvenal and Shakespeare. Hello, hello. What's up, Nikki? Joy to you too, indeed. I am, yeah, I'm just really, really tired, I think is probably the simplest. Let me get myself in the correct location here. Probably just like the simplest way to put it is just that I'm really fucking tired. Hello, Jane. Oh, I'm here for the line. Nice. Yeah, hello. I feel like we're starting to see some strong cross-pollination now. Probably because I'm producing, and therefore I am present for more of the shows. And I cannot contain myself from occasionally commenting. I feel like I did a little bit, maybe too much on Chewed Gum last night. A little bit too much producer commentary, perhaps. But nobody is mad at me. That's just my own personal judgment. What a coincidence. I'm tired too. What are the odds? True. Ah, yeah. Yeah. I haven't been sleeping well. So I got hold on, water. Hail hydrate. Mm. Roblox comfy AF. Yes, it is comfy. It's a little bit warm sometimes, but um oh, I don't have any more of them in here. I took them to the bedroom. I bought some dental guards, like placard, plackers, these things, the toothpick slash floss stick thing. Well, they also make a night guard that's like you can use it for up to 3 days, and it's just like you bite down on it, and it's between your teeth. And I have been seriously clenching my jaw the last 2 nights, which is partially an indicator that, like, I mean, confirmed, I guess, I am not feeling good, and probably it's related to not sleeping well. And I have physical evidence that I've been clenching my teeth because they're all like deformed. Can moss cross pollinate? I must muse on this. That's true. That's true. Sapphic. Oh, yeah, you were pretty happy for all of my commentary last night on Chewed Gum. Appreciate it. Hello, Cliff. Shakespeare says, my potentially great news. I am going to be having a tour next month or sooner for short-term transitional housing. That's such fucking good news. I am excited for you. If Naomi comes in today, which she might not, she might be sleeping. I should post her GoFundMe. One of our community members, Naomi, is in the Baltimore area, and we're trying to help her get stable with, we're getting in touch with organization there that's like a trans organization that can help her potentially with finding transitional housing of some kind. And yeah, so man, I feel like if we're gonna have a community, we should do our best to use it, right? Like, I don't personally have a lot of extra money right now. Payday is like this week. So, but it's like I've been doing a lot of stuff on credit this month. And so because I don't have the ability to directly give, I figure, let's use this platform to try to direct some attention her way and everything. She's staying in a motel right now. Going to be getting in contact with organization and peer support networks. So, yes. Oh no. Ethereal says, I actually cracked my back tooth last night from clenching. I just ordered those mouth guards that mold to your teeth. Yeah, I decided to just get the cheap disposable version to try it out, rather than getting like one that's supposed to be permanent. But okay, now I gotta watch that chewed gum. Yeah, it was a pretty annoying episode. If we're being completely legitimate, it's been a rough week, I feel, as a producer on the line. I don't want to complain too much, I'm very grateful. But boy howdy, it is like herding cats a little bit, like I'm not a manager, but kind of I am, in the sense that the show needs to happen and it's my job to make the show happen. So I am I kind of do have to like reach out to people and be like, hey, you're late. Are you going to show up? What's the deal? So we had one person who was late on Sunday who just didn't know that they were scheduled, got confused after looking at the schedule, which was fine. It wasn't terribly late. But then Monday, someone was late, and we started 30 minutes late. We started the show a full 30 minutes late, and I was very frustrated with that. We got to start on time yesterday because God bless Taylor and Alyssa. They're both like on it. They're on time. They're there. They're ready to go. But the callers were just obnoxious. But then I had a delicious dinner. I decided to cook salmon, it was like, a pretty expensive protein option, but again, just like using it on credit, I'll figure it out next month. I wanted to try some like really, really, really fresh fish, and it was delicious. And I'm happy that I did it. It was a yummy dinner. Yeah, fucking Andrew called in again. And I want to be clear, that was a decision that we made. We don't ever have to take Andrew's calls. I'm the reason why you all got a break from Andrew in the first place. I was like, let's take a break. In a week or two, we'll take his calls again. So I'm the reason why you got a break in the first place. And I'm also the reason why we chose to take his call last night. So just want to be completely transparent with you. All of that so far has been my decision. Unless maybe they took his call on some show that I don't produce for. So like I didn't have anything to do with that. But for the After Dark show, Skep Talk and Chewed Gum, the break that you got from Andrew was mine. I'm taking credit for it. Although I am kind of starting to think maybe we will not take his calls anymore because he just was so rude just to start out with. Last night, Taylor had given a really personal testimony of her deconstruction process and how difficult and painful it was. And like the fact that she was in the process of like questioning her faith. And so she specifically went to a Christian therapist because she was trying to reconnect with her faith and she wanted the Christian therapist to help her with that. And then for Andrew to come in and be like, well, no wonder you lost your faith. You went to a therapist. And I was like, bro, that's so disrespectful of like a difficult personal experience. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to keep doing Andrew because of that. Like, I'm like, you can't be that mean to my hosts. So we'll play it by ear. Maybe we'll see how it goes. But my personal prerogative is like, he's really disrespectful in a way that I like have trouble dealing with as a person who's like, I can mute you or hang up on you or whatever. I did hang up on someone. Okay, so that was really funny. I do want to share. So Skep Talk so we started really late, and then Aaron and Owen ended up talking about their difficult relationships with their dads for a while. And then we started to take calls, and we took this one call. This guy, I guess his name is Matt Slick, and I guess he is, he's done a debate with Aaron before. He's a Christian apologist or something like that. And, yeah, so the optimal clip length for us is between 30 and 40 minutes. Like that's what the good optimal clip length. And so we got to about that 35-minute mark, and Matt Slick had just been we'd been going in circles for a while. We'd been going in circles, and I think I may have even tried to redirect at a couple points. I can't remember if I used my producer voice during that call, but I was like, no, I must have. No, I did, because, yeah, the final thing, I did get on again at the end because, like, yeah, it was going around in circles, and he kept being a bitch about, like, oh, you guys are talking over me, you guys are interrupting me, all this. And he kept being like, let me finish, let me finish, let me finish. And I want you to know, there were about 4 times that he said, just let me finish, can I speak? That I considered dropping him, but didn't. And then I think I did choose to drop him during another one of those, like, let me finish. That was my plan anyway. Maybe it didn't go exactly according to plan, but I wanted to hang up on him numerous times. And I didn't. And I feel like, because I was like, okay, it's 35 minutes. This is exactly the correct time for a clip length. And I honestly think that the audience will think it's hilarious. I think the clip audience and the live audience will think it's hilarious for me to make the executive decision of like, oh no, we lost his call. What a terrible accident that his call dropped. Let me finish. No, literally, exactly. See, you feel me. That's the energy that I was trying to give. He's like, let me finish. And I'm like, no, you actually can't. I'm actually going to drop you. Yeah. And Aaron was complaining a little bit. He's like, oh, we were having fun. Like, no, you were the only person having fun. Everybody else was so fucking annoyed by that point in the conversation. Like, we have now for 10 minutes been circling the same point. So let's fucking move on. It was crazy. I'm doing too good at my job getting the spicy callers in. Oh, gosh. Okay, thank you. I appreciate. The hang up was funny. Good to know. Slick is slimy AF. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. They do this thing, and like we had another caller at the end of the show who tried to do the same thing. I was like, bro, we're just going in we're doing exactly the same thing. We're looping. Someone like called in at the end of the show and was like, we like literally was doing exactly the same thing that Matt Slick had been doing with this whole like trying to catch Aaron in some kind of gotcha. This is common. People call Aaron Ra specifically because they want to try to like catch him in some kind of like, we're speaking live and so maybe we misspeak or maybe we make an assertion or something like, and like reaching as far as they can to try to catch Aaron in some kind of intellectual like fallacy or mix up or something. And they try to pin him down and they consistently do this thing with like, oh, you're not having a fair discussion and like I need to have a chance to speak and you keep interrupting me. And it's like all their own personal genre of call that Aaron and maybe to a lesser extent Matt receive those calls. And it's literally just a pissing contest. It's literally just a whose dick is bigger contest between some random guy and Aaron. And they both seem to feel the need to prove themselves in that contest. And I'm like, you guys are... This is a frustrating genre of call. I paid Javon to drop a call like 9 minutes in because the guy was so fucking annoying. Wow, that's fun. Yeah, he does that. He's like, oh, if this call is too irritating to the audience, what does he usually do? Is he like, let's get, if y'all collectively can do $50 in donations, we'll drop this caller or something? We should do that more often. I should steal that from Javon. You gotta love the bait and switch tactics that these morally challenged people resort to. Yeah, that's true as well. Oh, I guess a little kind of sort of announcement. I am most of the way done with, frankly, it shouldn't have taken me this long to do it. I've just been really fucked up this week. I took a clip from a recent call. If you guys remember, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I was on with Dr. Ben back in September, and we did a call from a guy called Michael, who had like a religious objection to trans people. Like he started out with like the tagline, trans people are an abomination. Oh, yeah. Thank you, June, for the $20 super chat for the well-timed call drops. Also the box. Yes, the treasure chest does have something in it, and I'm blanking on what it is. Oh, yeah, okay, I remember. I put something in there, and I remember what it is. After 20 minutes Okay, so Javon's deal is after 20 minutes, Javon will invite people to donate $20 specifically if they want him to move on from that caller. Okay, that's a good deal. That's a good deal. Yeah, because 20 minutes is also a pretty good length for a clip. Like, I guess it's a little bit short for a clip, but we definitely don't want to go beyond 40 minutes, I think is the more important thing. But yeah, we did a call with Michael, who had religious objections to being trans, and I thought that the call was really interesting. It allowed me to flex some arguments that I don't normally get to flex on the anti-trans stuff, because mostly they're like, let's talk about sports or let's talk about giving children medicine, and like that's a totally different kind of conversation than a religious objection conversation. So I went ahead and I recorded a beginning and an end, like a little analysis of the call, and I'm going to upload that, I think, tomorrow. So that's going to be me trying to re-upload clips from the line with some additional value and context and commentary from myself here on this channel. So, you know, look out for that. I don't know, maybe consider watching it even if it's not your thing. It's like still in the vein of politics, so I'm thinking that it'll be more successful to do that on this channel than it will be to do video essays on this channel. Like, I just think that that's never going to really work. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Hello, Quantum Chaos and DZXN. Oh, let me add this $20 to the goal. Thank you so much for the $20 donation. That was June. Treasure chest. We can find out what's in the treasure chest if we get to $100 in donations this stream. Just so everybody remembers, super chats are still appreciated and they do still count toward the goal. But just for your frame of reference, YouTube takes about 30 to 40% of your donation. And I also don't receive that money until next month. If you want to donate directly with only the PayPal fees, donate directly through my website, luxander.net/donate, and I get that immediately, like tomorrow. So just so everybody knows, all donations are appreciated, but I want you to be able to make an educated decision about how to spend your money. I don't usually listen in on the anti-religious stuff, but I can take a look. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. The $20 bribe to drop a call after 20 minutes is surprisingly effective, astoundingly effective. And it's enticing when you have an awful caller. Yeah. And like, I guess we don't get to use that kind of thing on Takis very often because we get so few mean callers. We, like, recently Arden and I had a thing where we had like 3 spicy callers or something. And yeah, that was really interesting. Doesn't happen that often, but I was excited to get to have more of those. I've already told you guys recently that the advice calls and stuff just kind of take a lot out of me. Someone said Oregon is affordable in the red counties, but then is socially like Texas. Yeah, I have found the rent is definitely higher here, but I think I also improved the rental conditions. Like, I think that the rental that we have now is better than the rental that we had before. So our costs didn't double. Like, I want to be clear. It did not double coming up here, but the minimum wage did double. Like, $7.25 minimum wage in Kansas versus $15 minimum wage here. You know, for me, like, if our cost of living didn't double, but the potential for our pay did kind of double, that's worth it to me. And yeah, I don't know if it's helpful at all for me to give that amount of information. A benefit, okay, Ember says, a benefit to the paid drops with Javon is that he can pick the timing to make it as funny as possible. Okay, yeah, cool. So if he's like, okay, I hear you and I'm going to drop this guy, and then he can just choose to do it in the funniest way possible. Nice. Can you push for a spicy only Takis? I mean, it's just not realistic sometimes. Like, sometimes we literally have like 6 callers who all want advice and no spicy callers. We cannot just sit there and let 6 people be on the line. Like that just, I mean, we could, but it would feel really rude to just let 6 people sit there and for us to wait for a spicy caller to come in. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, for the most part, Takis is really wholesome, which I guess I can have a greater appreciation for how wholesome it is now that I'm dealing with bullshit where like I'm actually trying to actively restrain myself from commenting, or like trying to make sure that if I really do need to say something, that it's like, you know, this is getting really repetitive. Let me insert something small here and then I can step back a little bit. Yeah. Oh, one that I really enjoyed from this week also was we were doing the After Dark show with Forrest and Owen. Yeah, that one we were like 2 minutes late to start, right? Yeah. So we had Owen and Forrest was going back and forth with this guy who the guy kept being like, why did all of these inventions pop off in the beginning of the 1900s? Like, why is it that all of a sudden, you know, there's an acceleration of like technological whatever, blah, blah, blah. And like they went back and forth about this multiple times before I was like, guys, it's the fucking agricultural industrialization. like when we started producing enough food for everyone, and then not everybody had to be a subsistence farmer, like, yeah, I felt like it was necessary to interrupt that cycle to just be like, dude, stop acting like it's so fucking confusing that during that time, suddenly technology started taking off. Like when people no longer had to spend all of this time making food, and if everybody's well fed, then they have more energy. And then, as Forrest pointed out, then they can also specialize in specific lines of work. And then, yeah, you have like more and more and more technological advancement as people can specialize in making technological advancement happen. So I really try to limit myself to those kinds of contexts where I'm like, you guys have been looping. Let me say something that I think is going to interrupt this particular loop. And it did. It did interrupt that particular loop. They went off on a different tangent. But yeah, it was... I don't think Forrest has gotten the memo that we should keep calls to like 40 minutes and not let them go on for an entire hour. Javon does such a good job at humiliating the idiots who won't give pronouns, and it's a great approach to it. Yeah, I like that. I would love to do a show with Javon sometime. We did react to the debate recently. I was on with Javon and Jimmy on a Thursday last week, and that was a lot of fun. But I would love to be able to take some anti-trans calls with Javon. That would be a lot of fun. I get a warning when I click on your website that it isn't a secure connection with HTTPS. Where did you click on it from? Did I forget to put the S in the Discord, or... Because it should be in HTTPS. I thought it was. Yeah, it's HTTPS. That's very weird. I just watched a Javon video where he said, I see your pronouns are re/diculous. True. That's funny. Is it in the YouTube description that I have it wrong? I just want to make sure that I haven't missed out and like put HTTP when it should be HTTPS. Could you tell the screeners to screen for spicy specifically? Yeah, we can. So what we do on some of the other shows is we'll say, let's leave 2 lines for atheists and all the rest of the lines we want theists. So that's something that we do regularly for the Monday, Tuesday, Sunday shows. I still need to I need to ask, like, I think we should ask our callers on Takis what their political alignment is in the same way that we do on Calling It Now. Like, I just think that that would be an interesting factor to have on there, to know what someone's political background is before we have like the start of the conversation. What else was I about to say? I was about to say... Yeah, okay, yeah. So maybe we could say, let's limit on Takis, like... Or maybe we could just ask, are they pro-trans or anti-trans or questioning? Like, maybe just something like that. Um, oh, hey, Jess, how's it going? Yeah, okay, I guess you are the person to hear this. Jess in the chat is our call screener for Takis and sometimes the other shows. But yeah, so I just didn't know if, like, starting off being like, are they pro-trans or anti-trans or unsure or something, or their political alignment, like, and then we could be like, yeah, let's limit this to let's only leave 3 pro-trans lines open. Like, maybe, but I don't know. Takis just is different than the other shows. We have, I think, a majority trans audience over there. It's not like we're mostly catching people who disagree. We, like, mostly have a bunch of people who need a supportive environment, you know? Anyone else notice that online apps and websites seem to be having a bunch of issues? Yeah, there was a huge outage, right, for some Amazon web service thing. It's Fuzzy Logic. Hello. Yeah, you came in at the perfect time. Now, the question is Arden going to take your note about it being an anti-trans caller or a conservative caller or whatever you decide to end up doing? Is she going to take that and translate it onto the lower third? That's the question. Takis is a safe space while the other shows aren't. I guess, yeah, we do kind of police our chat a little bit more than the other shows. Oh my gosh, my back. I'm so old. Forrest is too much of an educator to let someone walk away wrong. Honestly, gotta respect. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate him for it. It just isn't optimal. It's just not optimized for, you know, like, how can we make money and make sure that this has the best reach that it possibly can? How are we going to reach more people? Do a vertical stream for Takis, like calling it now, get spicy that way? Yeah, maybe. Or, you know, I've noticed that recently Jimmy has brought on Promise to do calling it now. Because Promise, I think, is in Belgium or something. Like, she's in the UK or some shit like that. I don't know. She's in Europe. And so she can only do it early in the day. For us, it's early in the day. And so I wonder if they're going to maybe start doing calling it now before Takis so that we can have the calling it now boost. Because for right now, Takis goes into calling it now instead of, I think the intention for a lot of these other shows is we catch the calling it now audience and then move them over to the line for Skeptalk or whatever. Iceland? Yeah, I have no idea. I've never actually talked to Promise, so I don't know where she lives. Yeah, that would be funny. Yeah, Gayfesh, you're good. That's perfect. Yeah, that's great. Promise lives in Finland with her beautiful Nordic hunk of a husband. Ooh, okay, good for her. Slay. She's sliving. Ooh, great breaking trans news. Shakespeare has news out of Minnesota. The trans athlete case that went to the Minnesota Supreme Court has gone in favor for trans protections. So for now, we can do sports here in Minnesota. Hell yes. Yes. Almost certainly the opposition is going to appeal it numerous times, but for now, the protections still stand. Go Minnesota for being a decent place to live. Fuzzy, sorry, Quantum Chaos says, I'm agreeing with Fuzzy that I'm jealous of how hot Promise's husband is from one straight dude to another. Oh no. Yeah, that's good for her. I'm proud of her. Hi, Meffy. You've arrived, indeed. If you need a trans person who will yell at transphobes, I'm your gal. I have a non-passing voice, so bigots scrolling by are more likely to stay because they know I'm a trans person. Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to set something up with Riverboat Jack because she hasn't had the chance to come on before. But we also are getting pretty close to, or no, yeah, okay. So sometime next week we're gonna start scheduling out the following month. So we'll start to see like what's available for next month. And I know that Arden has been kind of trying to take a break from being on camera, and Ben might also have some conflicts next month. So I might have an opening spot on Takis for a guest. We will see, and I will keep you updated, Meffy, if you have the time for like an earlier show on a Thursday. But you work a regular job, so if, and I get it, it's like 2 p.m. for you on a Thursday, so maybe that wouldn't work. 69th like, great time to join. Hell yeah, Liam, what's up? Appreciate y'all staying consistent with the like button. I listened to her for like the first time yesterday. Riverboat Jack, yeah, she's really cool. I don't watch her stuff, but that's like not special about her. Like I don't watch leftist streamers. Like that's not how I spend my free time. I would rather fucking eat glass. Again, nothing personal to any of them. It's about me and my free time. And the things that I want to do with my free time, which is not watch political streams. So, but she's cool. She's worked with Progressive Victory. I've worked with Progressive Victory. I don't anymore, but so I think I've done streams in a group setting with Riverboat Jack before. I have PTO. I can just be like, doctor's appointment. Okay, good. Cool. Good to know. Oh my god, hail hydrate, babes. No streamers watch other streamers. Pretty standard. Yeah. Riverboat tends to go pretty late. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that is, I know that that's like, I guess a little bit unique about me as a streamer. And I was just thinking about that recently, that I am not gonna be like a Friday night, Saturday night kind of streamer. That's just never really been my thing. I've considered before that maybe I'm hurting myself with my early thing. Because in the same way that like I kind of do genuinely believe that Takis performs worse because it starts earlier in the day. Now, again, if we could take the calling it now before Takis, then I think that would change things a little bit. But I do it early because I have so many fans across the ocean, and like also it's more convenient for me to do shit during the workday and like not super far into the evening. Although I did kind of fuck myself by doing a Sunday show. Like I'm just cutting into the little amount of shared weekend I have with my partner. Which that might actually have to change. I might actually have to change, and I've been thinking about this anyway, because I'm like producing on the line and I host on the line like frequently. I'm basically doing like a lot of what you would determine as like maybe calling extra shifts or overtime or something. Like I have been working so much this month for the line, and you know, I have like motivation to work on other things. I'm just finding myself like really stressed out. So trying to figure out like how to spend all that time or like what I should prioritize and stuff. So one of the things that I'm thinking about is, should I slim down to only streaming once a week? Maybe. Sunday would not then become a work day. Well, I already work on Sunday evenings because of the After Dark show, but it's not like I guess basically what would happen is, well, no, it would just be me working less in a week because I wouldn't start working on Friday because Friday, Saturday is still like my 2 days I'm supposed to have off. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure shit out. I don't know. I don't know what the right choice is. Seeing Arden on stream is a treat, like seeing a majestic eagle attacking a drunk outside a bar. I'll tell her you said that. I'll let her know. It would be nice to get Katie back, although I know she has perfectly reasonable reasons not to. Yeah, my understanding is that Katie has some specific thing that she has to do on Thursdays that prevents her from being able to do our thing, like something with her dad or something. I have been thinking about reaching out to her and seeing if she would be willing or interested in doing maybe like an early afternoon Saturday show. I don't know, like it's just something that could be more reasonably in her time zone on like a Saturday. So yeah, I'm thinking about getting in touch with her. I don't know if she's interested, and I did hear from someone in Riverboat Jack's community that she specifically is interested in coming on the line, so that's part of why I'm reaching out to Jack. Riverboat Jack starts... Is that Riverboat Jack starts her stream at midnight and goes until 4 or 5 in the morning her time, which works at... for me as an afternoon Aussie, but it's crazy times for the US. That's so true. I've been wanting to do a weekly news/politics channel on YouTube while I learn to make documentaries, but I hate my voice so much that I wouldn't be able to edit the videos. And I don't know what I would call it. Yeah, that's a... You gotta get used to it. Like, I'm not telling you you have to. If someone wants to be an independent creator like that, then yeah, you either have to like get a voice modulator or something, or just get really comfortable seeing your own face and hearing your own voice. I don't even really notice that my voice sounds different when I speak versus when I hear it because I do both all the time. Like I hear both of them on a regular basis. It just no longer bothers me. I'm trying to do more debates on my TikTok lives, but I'm usually wiped at the end of the day. I mean, I guess it would be perfect to chuck a sickie and do a mid-afternoon show then, huh? Yeah, we were talking about Katie Montgomery. Gayfesh confirms you get over hearing your own voice when you start editing your own stuff. You figure it out. Naomi! I can share, Naomi, your GoFundMe link today for the stream if you would like me to. I don't know what the link is. I don't think I have it. I have your PayPal, but I feel like it would be better to share your GoFundMe instead of your PayPal. Obviously, I already shared it in the Discord, but yeah, if you were gonna need more money for food and a motel this week, like I said earlier, guys, we're trying to help Naomi get back on her feet after she recently had to leave the shelter she was staying at, so we're trying to mobilize and get her some help over there in Maryland. Which also, like, if anybody here is in the Maryland, Baltimore area and you know anything about, helping somebody find housing temporarily while they get a job, like, that would be useful. I already know about a couple of nonprofits in the area, but I think personal peer networks are super important in these situations, so... I used to live in Seattle. I miss the PNW so much, but it's so pricey. Yeah, I did not move to a central metropolitan area. That's the thing. I do not live in Portland. I assume that it would be insanely expensive. And the same, if you live in Seattle, I assume that's insanely expensive compared to like living outside of Tacoma or something. Josie, yeah, Josie's in Maryland. Yeah. Rosie Chan, hello. We're doing okay today. Yawn. Mephi says, working out to be healthy? No. Working out to tolerate looking at myself while I'm editing? Yes. That's funny. I am just focusing on cardio. I was pacing yesterday because I was super anxious, and then I Googled it, and it turns out that pacing can count as a form of solid state cardio. um, so that's cool. Portland is either super expensive or super risky. Yeah, there's a good amount of like property crime in the whole valley, I think, has this problem. But that's because there's a shit ton of homeless people here, so. I found the best trick for weight loss. I call it being constantly in a state of anxiety all the time. Yeah, I have been dangerously underweight in the past because I have been so anxious that I physically cannot eat. There have been times in my life where I am sitting there trying to eat bacon, one of the most delicious foods that has ever existed, and I've been like chewing and I cannot make, my body will not let me swallow the food, and I'm like crying trying to eat the food and I can't. Yeah, so I was horrifically underweight during that time, and now I'm kind of like just a little bit technically overweight according to BMI, but BMI is bullshit, and I think I have more muscle than average, so we all know that that doesn't really count for anything. Pacing is basically treadmill without the expensive machine. Yeah. Are you into woo, Lux? No. Uh, I guess maybe this is not apparent, but I am an atheist. I do have like, I like the aesthetic of like witchiness, but other than that, I am painfully practical and materialistic. Not materialistic like I value being spoiled or something, but I mean just like utilitarian, I guess is a better word than materialistic. I'm a materialist, not materialistic. Anyway. I have to convince myself it's medicine and make myself eat. I don't normally have that. It was just like for a few years, I was stressed out all the time, or like a year or two, I guess I was stressed out all the time. I am more stressed out now, or no, maybe not more. Sorry. I am still stressed out now, but it hits different. Like I'm definitely not on a like not able to eat level. Yeah, BMI is bullshit, especially if you're muscular. Stream not loading, rip. Oh no. I mean, it looks like it's okay to me, but I don't know. Sorry. YouTube has also been fucking wacky lately. Canadian Goose, hello. I listened to the line, but I could have swore you were into woo. I mean, I'll do a cheeky tarot read every once in a while, but I don't really believe it's doing anything except helping me clarify what I already feel. Like in the same way that when you flip a coin and you catch it and you put it down on your hand and there's a moment where you know what you want it to be, but it's really clarified when you look at it and you get the answer and you get that like either relief that it was the answer that you wanted or bummed out that it was the answer that you didn't want. Like flipping a coin is only helping you clarify things for yourself. And I feel the same way about tarot. It's only clarifying things that you know, that you already believe or whatever. Have you thought about getting a treadmill base for your standing desk? I've thought about it, but I don't really want to. It's like, they're like 4 or 5 inches tall, and I just don't want to have a big fucking thing. And then right now, I have a pad, and I have to pick up the pad and move it, and then bring my chair back here. And if there's a thing that weighs fucking 15 pounds or 20 pounds that I have to move, girl, I'm going to be annoyed. So no, I don't. Yeah, weeping because your body is rejecting bacon. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Can you tell I'm an American? Yeah, it was difficult. Yep, BMI is pretty arbitrary. And like, yeah, isn't it also based off of like the standards for white males? So BMI is based on the healthy standard for white males. It does not take into account fat body percentage or fat distribution, which actually does make a big difference. Like the more fat you have on the front of your belly, the worse it is. But if it's like lower on your belly or on your hips and stuff, it's less unhealthy. Like there's something specifically about packing it on the front of your body that is like unhealthy, in a way that other fat storage is not. But like BMI doesn't take any of that stuff into account. I am not going to be on Takis tomorrow. Tomorrow is a no-line day for me. I am going to be focusing on getting some other work done around the house and probably more editing bullshit. So that's what I'm planning to do tomorrow. It's BS even for white males, TBH. Yeah, no, it's for multiple different reasons. Why? Like, so first of all, it is based on white males, but also even within that context, it does not take into consideration things like fat distribution or body fat percentage versus muscle weight percentage or anything like that. So yeah, I know like bodybuilders who are quote unquote medically obese because they have muscles and muscles weigh more than fat. And, you know, even if they have less than 10% body fat, they're still like medically obese. Like, okay, it's completely fucking meaningless. If it's possible for a bodybuilder with less than 10% body fat to be considered medically obese, it's a fucking useless measurement. Fuzzy Logic says, as I understand it, BMI actually is meant to be a population level measurement for assessing statistical trends. Okay, so it's like not even supposed to apply to individual body makeup. Annoying. More visceral fat means more fat around the organs, which is what's bad for you. Okay, cool. That makes sense. A lot of bodybuilders are unhealthy, though. I mean, I'm not saying that that's what we should aim for. Sure, yeah, like if you're severely dehydrating yourself in order for your muscles to show up in high definition, then yeah, that's unhealthy. I get it. I'm just saying that they're not unhealthy because they have a high BMI. Like that is an irrelevant factor. You know, I'm like not trying to say that everything the bodybuilder does is good. I feel like taking steroids is not good for you. Verna, I agree. Okay, measurements that make sense, like how many pounds can I lift? How many miles can I walk? Those, like, what is it? People call it like non-scale victories, where it's like, okay, I fit into a size smaller than I used to fit into, or I was able to run around with my nephew this afternoon and I didn't have to lie down afterwards or whatever. Like those are the kinds of things that are more deterministic for your health. Like, and that's something that I try to tap into is how do I actually feel in my body? Because I have a lot of health issues that freak me out. Part of why I'm so fucking exhausted right now is because for the last 3 days, I have had heart palpitations basically all day long. Like not literally constantly, but like consistently throughout the day. It is so frustrating sometimes. It's literally exhausting. My heart is pounding for no fucking reason. And I'm like drinking a whole bunch of fluids and I'm getting more salt and I got the electrolyte pouches and like, Oh, so I'm exhausted because that took a lot of energy. Good God, it was annoying. Why was I talking about that? Oh yeah, so I try to be like, how do I actually feel in my body? You know, like I'm having the heart palpitations, but like, do I feel strong? Do I feel like I'm gonna faint? Like, you know, am I really in danger or something? Like, because your body will tell you if you're in danger. You will feel, so many people's last words are like, I don't feel so good, doc. Like, they know that something is about to happen. Your body sends you signals and then you die. It's like a panic attack, basically. So I know what that feels like. Yeah, heart palpitations are annoying. Is it an irregular heartbeat too? No. I do not have an irregular heartbeat. That is a whole different problem. I just have POTS. There's a professional strong woman who I follow on TikTok, and in any video where she's not actively lifting top level amounts of weight, there are chuds in the comment section just calling her fat. Like, people have no idea what strength looks like. I mean, I think they do know what strength looks like. They just are going to criticize women for, you know, if they weren't calling her fat, because there's like bodybuilders who like push the most weight that they can, and there's bodybuilders who are more trim. Um, like two different scales of whatever, like those who are pushing for the biggest numbers versus those who are pushing for like the biggest physical muscle appearance. And so the one who's pushing for like hardcore strength is going to have more body fat. Therefore, the criticism of her is going to be, you're fat. The more visibly muscular woman is going to be told, like, you look like a man. You know, they can't criticize her for being fat, but they are going to say, well, you look like a man. So basically, there's like nothing that women do is acceptable. I don't know if you've noticed that, but everything you do is completely and entirely unacceptable. I'm almost 40 and heart shit is scary AF. I mean, Riffs, aren't you in a place where you can get preventative health care? Are you an American or are you in a civilized country? Yeah, women in their second class citizen status. I'm gonna just step away real quick to get a new cup of water. I won't be gone for super long, so just give me a second here. I'm back. Told you. Are palpitations when the heart stops for several beats, then beats rapidly to catch up? No. Palpitations usually refers to like a racing heart, or like for me, it's like my heart rate increases suddenly. So it can sometimes feel a little bit like there is like a weird boom, 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 boom happening, but like all of the beats are fine. Like they're happening when they're supposed to, but like just fast, like faster than they should be, effectively. Later, Mephi. Have a good night. Women get judged for everything, including stuff they have no control over. Yeah, yeah. Palpation is the bad guy from Star Wars, true. Somehow Palpation came back. I got POTS, had to wear a heart monitor to check for dangerous rhythms. I'm good. Just the blood pressure things get wonky all the time based on levels of activity, including the act of standing up. Yeah, I wore a monitor for 2 days, and every time I recorded that I thought that there was an incident, they were like, everything's fine. So, yeah. It turns out that I just, it's just a body coordination problem, but I don't have like a heart condition. Quantum says, I get ones where it feels like I'm being punched in the inside of my chest by an angry ninja. Wow, that's impressive. You got your own little personal heart ninja. Does that mean that if you have cardiac arrest, then you'll have a built-in little failsafe? You'll have a guy who will be there like psh, 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 until your heart starts beating again? Palpitations can be fluttering too, but if there's a skip, that's more likely arrhythmia. I mean, sometimes people describe palpitations as fluttering, but I think that that is referring to the experience of having them rather than like literally describing something the heart is actually doing. Because yeah, when my heart rate suddenly accelerates, it sometimes feels like it's fluttering or tripping over itself or flipping over or something. But that's just like, oh, suddenly my heart has surged and is going really fast for no reason. Anyway, if you keep catching COVID over and over again, welcome to the life you're about to be living. This is one of the very common conditions you can develop after getting COVID. Quantum Chaos says, I'm now on a beta blocker to help these palpitations. Yep, and now I'm a total alpha male. Yeah, you're suppressing all of the beta. Yeah, the ninja does benefit me with the cardiac arrest thing, but he eats half my food. I know, what a punk-ass bitch. My partner started saying punk A word, B word instead of punk ass bitch, and now I say it constantly, probably too much. I'm constantly like, you punk A word, B word. I'm one of the only people I know who hasn't caught it. The other is my partner. Are you just like really fucking on it with your wearing a mask all the time? Because that's really impressive. I've like mad respect for people who like have been taking precautions the whole time and have never caught it. Oh man. At least as far as I know, I don't have an actual heart problem. It's like y'all are like, oh, I'm also missing an aortic valve, or I had 5 extra valves, and I'm like, wow, that sounds terrible. The health anxiety starts creeping in. I feel like I'm doing the best I can. Like, dude, guys, I know someone who I know who was 34 just died last week after 5 days in the ICU. I'm very much like, I hope I'm making good choices as far as my health goes, and I don't have a doctor or health insurance right now, so I hope that there's nothing bad happening to me. Shakespeare, have you tried 3M brand Aura masks? Because I find that those breathe really well. It can be, if it's like 90 degrees out, then yeah, I'm going to struggle wearing even a high quality mask, but that's what I would recommend. Being a complete shut-in is probably the only surefire way to avoid COVID, complete social abstinence. I am a severe homebody. Like, I am such a homebody. But, oh my God. Okay, I just want to share. Okay, so great news. One of our best friends in the world is moving up here. So you guys probably, if you're like longtime fans, you'll know that like basically every summer I go to a barbecue at my friend's place in like small town Kansas. And it's like an outdoor event. The only thing you really go inside the house for is if you need to use the bathroom, all the boys just go pee in the wooded area. So whatever. Uh, but yeah, it's like a party. It's, drinking and stuff like that. There's bonfire. We play beer pong and kind of shit like that. And it's his house, but he sold his house and he has been living in a camper for most of this year anyway. And so he's like in the perfect situation to come up here. And so he's going to. And yeah, it's like official in like 2 weeks. He's going to, hold on. How long? Yeah, basically like 2 weeks from tomorrow, my buddy is planning on being here physically in the area where I live. And so I was kind of like a little bit nervous about that because I'm like, he's going to want to hang out like a lot. And I want to hang out a lot. Like I want to have that relationship. So I was like feeling really anxious about being like, okay, well, either we have to do precautions every single time you come over to my house and we have to worry about it, or here's a bunch of reasons why you should be doing daily precautions anyway. And then if you do that, then I don't have to worry about when you come over. And I think he's pretty much on board with just having daily precautions now. And I was like, listen, COVID is basically AIDS, except you breathe it. COVID is causing dementia and this. And I was like, on a personal level, I basically can't exercise right now after catching COVID last year. I'm still fucked up from that. So yeah, I think that I've convinced him. So it's like pretty much all good news. Like my buddy's coming up here. I don't have to stress about catching COVID because he's going to take precautions. And I was like, he's like a single guy right now. He's, I guess, sort of chronically single. I don't know. He'll date someone for a couple months and then it doesn't work out. And I'm like, I'm excited for him to be able to date up here. So I was like, here's a bunch of other stuff that you can do I'm not saying don't date. Here's how you can make out with someone and not be unsafe. Like, here's the nasal spray that I recommend. Here's the mouthwash I recommend. Here's a probiotic tablet I recommend. And he was like, yeah, that all sounds good. I can do all that. And I'm like, yes, I love having autistic friends so much. I'm like, if I just explain it, and the fact that he trusted me, I was like, I can give you data points for all of this of like the negative effects that COVID has on the body. Like I can give you data on all of it. And he did not need any of that because he just trusted that I had my shit together. And I was like, boy, that feels good. I'm realizing that I actually have some good, strong, healthy relationships in my life. And that just feels amazing. I had a weird arrhythmia for a couple years, which went away after getting COVID. Bodies are weird. Yeah, well, COVID does like damage cardiovascular cells, so it wouldn't surprise me if it could like change. And well, actually, I think that in that case, it wouldn't even be your heart cells. It's probably like the nerves of your heart. So like it changed something about the nerves that were firing in a weird way, causing your arrhythmia. I don't know. That's so interesting. I have a friend who has to wear a mask every time she comes over because she absolutely will not stop going to massive social events with no mask. Sucks, but otherwise she can't come in, so she does it. Yeah, for the most part, I am not trying to convince my friends to change all of their day-to-day precautions. I mean, like, I want my friends to be safe, but I don't know how to breach that conversation without it being like I'm lecturing you on how to live your life, you know? So for the most part, I don't really like try to get people to change their own daily habits. So me talking to this friend and being like, I would like for you to change your daily habits because I care about you and also because it would make hanging out with you way easier. But that was kind of the first time I've asked anyone besides my partner really to like change their behavior around this. And so for it to have worked, like otherwise, yeah, we've got, my partner is work friends with someone he works with, and we've hung out with her and her boyfriend. And we just like, when we had them over to our house, we asked them to wear masks and we wore masks and we took turns eating in the kitchen and stuff like, so, that's basically the thing. He's like, I'm not asking you to necessarily change all of your daily habits if you want to be my friend, but if we're going to hang out, then we need to like navigate this in a healthy way that does not result in me getting sick. I've been trying to get my COVID booster before going to a con this weekend. The NHS took me off the priority list, so I have to buy one privately. but I haven't been able to find a pharmacy that will take my money. Oh my fucking God, that's annoying. I will say I haven't gotten okay, so I got a COVID booster last year, but I got it before the new booster came out actually. And then I got sick with COVID in October. So I haven't had whatever the newest booster was as of fall 2024. And then there's a new booster now, and I haven't gotten that either. I probably should look into it. But I just wear a mask everywhere and I don't get sick. So like the vaccine is for if you manage to get exposed. But like if you just wear a mask everywhere, then like you don't even really need to worry about being vaccinated to the same degree. I'm not saying don't get vaccinated, but like between the two things, getting a vaccination is like a response. Like the vaccine in your body is a response to catching COVID. But if you avoid catching COVID in the first place, then the vaccine is a little bit redundant. And I think it cost like $200 last year. I'm pretty sure it cost $200 for people who don't have insurance. So it's like, man, do you think it would be worth it? Because okay, actually here, I want to know you guys' opinions. Do you think that healthcare is fucked? Like, do you think that we're absolutely going to lose the healthcare thing? Because the government is shut down basically over this one issue right now. The government is currently shut down because Democrats want to protect the subsidies of the Affordable Care Act. If I got health insurance for myself and my younger sibling right now, it would be $117 a month because it would be subsidized. I'm pretty sure without that subsidy, it would be $400 a month. That is beyond what I can afford. So I'm curious, do people think that we're going to come out in 2026 with those subsidies intact? Or should I just pretty much count on only being able to afford 2 months of health insurance and then no longer having health insurance as of next year? And like, then the question is, would it be worth it for me to get 2 months of health insurance right now? I guess it would be, because the vaccine would be free. Like, I'm pretty sure in Oregon, they've directed insurance must cover the COVID vaccine. So it would be covered, maybe not free, but like at least a reduced cost. So I feel like there's a burp coming and it just won't. So I'm sorry, I'm taking a second to try to get it to come up and it's just not. Glad they're free in Australia. Yeah, you guys have a real sense of public health. I have no faith that your government will reopen at this point. Mab says 50-50 results unclear. Ask again later. SNAP is the immediate danger for November. ACA and other federal protections not looking great. Yeah. I mean, this is basically the two main things is like, well, okay, so these are sort of two separate issues, right? SNAP not being funded because they haven't passed a budget, but the budget includes SNAP funding, right? Whereas the new budget does not include the healthcare subsidies. So the healthcare subsidies are the reason why Democrats are not approving this budget. And the Republicans refuse to reconsider those healthcare subsidies. And so we are at a stalemate because of that reason. Now, again, the government not being funded because they have not passed a funding bill will directly impact SNAP recipients, but the SNAP is not at issue in this budget in that way, as far as my understanding. Oregon literally has healthcare as a human right in its constitution. Yeah, but I don't know if that means that I'll be able to get affordable healthcare, because the way that I do not qualify for OHIP. We make too much money. Even though we have an adult dependent who doesn't make any money, we make too much money, especially because I work more now. We do not apply. We can't get OHIP. So I was looking on the marketplace, but the marketplace subsidies are federal, aren't they? So like, I don't know if Oregon has its own subsidizing for like that would fill in that gap if if the federal subsidies are gone. Like, I don't know. It's a fucking nightmare. It's been shut for like 3 weeks. Has it really been shut for 3 weeks already? I've not been paying it that close of attention. The poverty line is such fucking bullshit. I know. It's crazy how you can be like making too much money to qualify for any form of assistance, but also like make too much money to qualify for the same tax cuts that you were getting before. Like the earned income credit changing was so fucking stupid. It's so stupid. I spent less on healthcare for my partner before we got insurance. Paying out of pocket works for routine medical care. It's the ER that will kill you financially. So I agree for the most part, Verna. By certain things. If all I need is like once a year, let's get some blood tests to see, make sure my lipids are looking good, make sure my liver is functioning just fine, and I don't have diabetes. If I just need a pap exam every 3 years, okay, then yeah, I think paying out of pocket for that stuff makes sense. But if you have complex health needs, if you are seeking a diagnosis for a health issue, like I would love to be formally diagnosed with POTS. I haven't been. I would also love to try to get a formal diagnosis of connective tissue disorder or whatever I have, because I most certainly could be fucking healthier if I had the support that I needed, but I don't. So like I have complex health needs and I don't think it's, and like I need to see a dermatologist twice a year because my grandmother had melanoma and I've never been to a dermatologist to be looked at for that. I need to be on these things and I just don't, I think that I need to have insurance to be able to deal with those kind of complex health needs. And also like it recently has come to my attention that maybe I think it's a good idea to spawn a human child, and I would need a lot of healthcare if I did that in a few years. Or maybe I want to get a hysterectomy. Wouldn't it be great to not pay out of pocket for a $15,000 surgery? Like, anyway. Okay, yeah, it has been 3 weeks. Most states can't make up the slack and couldn't until passing a new budget anyway. Yeah, there would have to be like brand new taxes. Everybody in Oregon would be so pissed off because they would levy a new tax to cut. Now, I will say one good thing is that in Oregon already, there is a committee that has been tasked with finding the budget to create universal health care in Oregon. I don't mean just like Medicaid. I mean fucking universal health care in Oregon. And I think that they were supposed to actually have the budget report ready already. Let me see. Hold on. Oregon, healthcare for all, Medicare for all. What am I looking for? Universal healthcare. I was thinking about that, Geneva, because I am going to be getting an accountant soon, and that's one of the questions that I have for the accountant is like, could I get an LLC and give myself health insurance for a reasonable price? Like, and then maybe like have a tax write-off or something involved in that? I don't know. I'm going to look into it. That's why I need an accountant. Spawning is crazy pricey. It's big baby, don't you know? Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to go in depth on my logic behind all that because it's still a pretty new thought process, but like, you know, healthcare would be nice. Like finding out if I could have a pregnancy that doesn't kill me. Like, you know, that would be good to know, to find out before even making a commitment to the idea of either doing it or not doing it. Like, let's just find out if it's possible for me to do that and not die. The vast cuts to the Minnesota budget alone are frightening. With the state budget shortfall this year, there have been sweeping layoffs, a push for worse state employment, and moves to force people to quit via attrition. While the state is politically great, it's still getting rocked. Yeah, I think pretty much everywhere has their shit that's going on. Like there is a large contingent of Republicans who are constantly talking about how they want to recall Tina Kotek, who's the Democratic governor of Oregon. I feel like she's doing fine, but they just fucking hate that there's a Democrat. So we very much have that thing where like rural Oregon, yeah, it's like more of the land mass is red, but the population is still in Portland and Eugene. And so we have all these rural counties that are super fucking ass mad that the majority of people in their state want a Democrat in power. And then, yeah, so they're constantly talking shit about her and calling her a man and stuff. Like, it's classic people attacking Hillary Clinton stuff recycled for Tina Kotek. It's wild. You may need to have an employee. My partner was thinking about hiring me part-time, but ended up getting a big boy job with fancy insurance, so we were spared that nonsense. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll look into it. Yeah, the government shut down on October 1st. Gracious. Yeah, we need universal benefits so that there's nothing means tested. Like, oh, you don't make enough money or you make too much money or whatever. Like, just fucking give it to everybody. Yeah, Oregon straight up like, here's Queertown, Homoville, and Lesbopolis, and out there is Naziland. Yeah. It's pretty funny. There's going to be work requirements for SNAP soon too, possibly, if it isn't cut into nothing. Uh, um, so maybe this is not true federally, but at least in some places, there are work requirements for SNAP. That 1 year that I moved out of living with my partner and I got my own place and I lived by myself for a while, I got SNAP benefits during that time. And there were things that, like, if I weren't self-employed, they would have required some kind of proof that I work a certain number of hours per week. So there kind of already has been a work requirement, at least in some places. I don't know if that's just state by state or something, but yeah. So that wouldn't be brand new. I like your monster tank top. I have no idea where I don't know how to buy one of these because I got it it was for work. I used to work at a gas station and they were like, here's some free monster merch. And I was like, bet, I'm taking that tank top. So I did that. I used to live in Homoville and Lesbopolis. I was born in Queertown. True. Potato. That was never the case here before. Okay, I guess in Kansas, they decided to have a work requirement for SNAP. If you have an LLC, you may be able to get a group health plan for the three of you. My partner has fucking health insurance through his job. It's me and my younger sibling who don't, but I guess I could do group health. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Like I said, I'm so out of my depth with understanding any of this stuff that I'm just going to get an accountant who knows how to run a business and can maybe help with me these things. I gotta send the fucking email finally. I've had the tab open on my computer for like a couple weeks now. Haven't taken the plunge and sent the email. But I want to be like, hey, here's my very basic needs. Can I schedule a consultation? Is this, are you accepting clients with this set of needs? Is it true that you can partake in Mary Jane in Portland? I think in Washington and Oregon, cannabis is legalized. I mean, I don't know a ton about it. I think it's basically in Oregon, it's the same rules as drinking alcohol. Like, well, it's a little bit different. You have to be 21 years old, though. And I think the only main difference is, like, alcohol has approved usage locations, like a bar, where you're allowed to sit there and drink, but I don't think that you're allowed to. There's no like cannabis bars. You purchase it, but then you have to leave. the premises. I don't know. I've walked past plenty of weed stores, but yeah, I don't know a ton about it. Cannabis is legalized up here in Washington. Yeah. And I think that like other drugs like psychedelics and stuff were legalized in Oregon for a bit. I think that maybe they have changed that back now, but maybe it hasn't quite gone into effect yet because along with, when you walk past the weed store, sometimes they also have signs outside that say like psilocybin and you're like, I thought that was not legal. For Washington, you have to be 21 and have a valid ID. Yeah. Washington and Colorado were the first states to legalize recreational cannabis. Yeah. Colorado gets credit for being like the first, right? I'm pretty sure. And then we fought each other at the Super Bowl. Yeah, the Weed Bowl. Janeba, are you saying that getting an accountant is the correct choice? I mean, the thing is that like it's money that I have to spend on an accountant, but if they can save me $3,000 on my taxes every year, that's worth it. So I'm hoping it'll pay for itself in that way. It was the same day Washington and Colorado voted to legalize it at the same time. Oh, cool. That's fun. That's cute. Minnesota gets credit for the first medical marijuana laws, but also the worst ones. At least it's now been finally legalized. Took forever, truly. Yeah, I used to live in Kansas where we were surrounded on all sides by states that had it legalized in some capacity, either recreational or medical. It was very funny. There was like a meme. Meme. Okay, it was I'm not going to be able to find exactly what I'm looking for, but there was a picture of basically like it was kind of like this, but it was like one person sitting in the middle and on the left and the right were each a couple making out. And yeah, it was basically like Kansas in the middle, like surrounded by all the other states with their legalized cannabis. I'm just saying, Jenny, but that I understand why people don't get an accountant because it costs money. But I am in a unique position where it might literally save me thousands of dollars a year. So it could be worth it for me to spend a couple $100. Or I don't know what it costs. I don't know what an accountant costs. It's always funny to drive across state borders where one state has it legalized and the other doesn't. And you look to see how close to the border the cannabis shops are built. They know what they're there for, they know what they're doing. We drove past a sign. I want to say it was in New Mexico. It was either New Mexico or Arizona. I don't remember which, but we drove through on our way up here and we saw a sign that said like that they were like, "Oh, we've been growing cannabis for 35 years." And I was like, me when I say I was doing something illegal for 30 years, like I just thought it was really funny in that way. Oh no. Mephi's supposed to be working, but instead you're hanging out here. Shame. Can't wait until psilocybin gets legalized for at least medical purposes. I've heard amazing things. Like, okay, so here's my understanding. Oh my gosh, we are so close to 100 likes on the stream. We are nowhere near our goal of getting to $100 in donations today. I am still trying to get donations because this is technically my job. technically one of my jobs. And we'll open the treasure chest, which is right here. It's kind of hidden by the chat, but I promise it's over there. We'll open the treasure chest if we get to our goal. Anyway, yeah. So I've heard from Oxford University, I think, where they were doing research on psilocybin on the treatment of PTSD. Like that is quite interesting to me, of course, as somebody with PTSD. But I've done exposure therapy 2 different times. So like, I think a lot of my symptoms are like mostly gone, or like, I feel like I'm certainly not at the level that I used to be with like calamity all the time. I'm still stressed. It's still very possible for me to get like really freaked out about things, but I think it's a little bit different now. But that is one of those interesting things, is psilocybin sort of helps break down the barriers in your mind that make it difficult for you to access these things. So yeah, I think that research is quite fascinating. Fuzzy Logic says California legalized medical cannabis in the mid-90s, so it has actually been 30 years, and now I feel super old since I remember when that law passed. No. Yeah, I know. I'm starting to get to that point where I'm like, oh, I clearly remember that thing that happened 20 years ago. Thank you, Guzman Jones, for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you. Yes, we will open the chest if we get to our goal today. Just a reminder, everybody, super chats, I don't get them until next month, and YouTube takes a pretty big cut of your money. So there is always that. I still appreciate it. It is just always still an option to go directly to the website. That is slightly more beneficial. You don't have to pay fucking 30% of your money to YouTube. Ooh, June learned how to use a table saw yesterday, and then today made carnitas tacos. Hell yeah. So my partner brought home for me like the wood from a pallet, and I would really love to build a shelf for like, okay, you know, inside the cabinets, like sometimes you have a bunch of like spices or something that are all short, and also they're all in each other's fucking way. And then there's like all this open space before the next shelf. And I am wanting to build like an intermediary shelf kind of thing, where like maybe I could put the spices on top and something else could be on the bottom. I have lots of little ideas like that, and my partner has a bunch of woodworking tools. So high five on learning how to use a table saw. I guess I would probably end up using the miter saw if I needed to make some cuts. Okay. We do have a table saw. It's just a pain in the ass to set it up. And then carnitas. I stopped by Chipotle this week. I was like, I crave the chipotle. And then I stopped and I got some chipotle. I don't eat out hardly ever. I will sometimes splurge on food, but I'm like splurging on grocery store food, right? I might get like these Quest chips. Oh man, dude. These are wonderful. These are so good. Not sponsored, but they have like protein in them, right? Like, so this thing has 150 calories and 18 grams of protein, which is a fantastic protein to calorie ratio. So yeah, I sometimes splurge on things like that. Or like I said, you know, I made salmon this week. So that was a definite splurge for the seafood. But I think that's the first time I've eaten out in like maybe the whole month. I prefer Qdoba. I've only had Qdoba like one time. What does your partner usually carve or make? My partner has made, so he does carve wood. He got most of the way through making a korok that he carved. He carved an isopod and was gonna finish it by putting it on a ring, like a 2-scale isopod, like a tiny isopod. Um, yeah, or sometimes well, I don't know. I was gonna say he'll build practical things, but I can't actually think of anything practical that he's built. We don't really have a great amount of space for doing any woodworking with power tools, so part of it is like maybe he's got a ton of ideas, but we need a garage, so it's probably going to be another couple years before he can really work on any of that stuff. Yeah. I like pho. I don't even know if I've ever had pho. Maybe I have. Haha, Mephi. Banana? Is banana in here? There's banana. Beef broth with noodle. In big bowl. Okay, so I have had like a big bowl of soup. It was at a Japanese restaurant called the Blue Koi in Kansas City, Missouri. But it was like a really thin broth. I don't even think it was a beef broth. It might have been chicken. Like maybe I got chicken instead of beef. You can tell Lux is tired of my shit. Yeah. With all the love. Pho is good. You have to try it. Yeah. I am like very loosely planning to go to Seattle sometime. And Gayfesh has a pho place. Part of the plan got postponed a little bit when I was like, oh, Demon Mama broke her fucking ankle. I was like, oh. But then also I keep having to do shit on the weekends. Like, okay, did you guys know? Okay, so we did our fundraiser for the Secular Student Alliance. We raised $50,000. And as a consequence of raising $50,000, we are now going to do an all-day stream with Forrest and Erica this Saturday. And so I'm going to spend like 5 hours of my day doing that. Because I'm going to split it in half with either Arden or our other producer. Naomi Banana in the YouTube chat says, meow. We're American as pho is still one of my favorite BoJack Horseman jokes. I don't even think I got that. I just thought that it was her brother being stupid. Like, I didn't ever catch that joke. That's very funny. Thank you for bringing that to mind. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's fucking Diane's brother.
Shiloh has donated $25. 0.
Thank you, Shiloh. He says 0 when you don't put a comment on that. But thank you so much for the $25 donation. I super appreciate that. I think that brings us up to $52, right? No. It's 22 plus 25, 47. Yeah. Thank you so much. That's very sweet. And we need $53 more to open the treasure chest. Woot woot, treasure chest. My voice is already fucking giving out on me. It's pathetic. Actual Cannibal Shiloh buff, true. Are you down with the clown? Generally, I am not like a proactive Insane Clown Posse enjoyer, but I have a lot of respect for the Juggalo culture. So. Naomi needs head pats. That's so true. That's fair. Sometimes physical touch is overwhelming. Okay, okay. Come down here with me. I had like a difficult couple of weeks. Like my partner we were struggling to get on the same page about stuff. And then we kind of got back on the same page about stuff. And then sometimes there's like, oh, it's suddenly like in the way that it was really intensely stressful before. Now it's like there's a really intense reconnection moment, and that in and of itself is kind of exhausting. And then sometimes it does not take very much for that to be disrupted, and so I'm just like tired. So I'm basically just like really tired. And also I've been bleeding every day for like a week and a half, and I'm fucking over it. So I might have to like eat a bunch of ibuprofen to make it stop. Fuzzy Logic says, I've been having fun pinging more donations to the Secular Student Alliance in the name of spicy collars the last couple days. Yes, do it. I'm planning a collab to make clown content next month. I'm so excited for you. That sounds crazy. Did you do any pumpkin content this month? Because that's what it was time for this month. Why have you been bleeding? Because I have a uterus and I'm on a form of birth control that sometimes makes you randomly hate life for indeterminate periods of time. Exactly. Yeah, God hates people with ovaries. That's what's going on here. I have never in my life felt like I needed to take an iron supplement around this time, but I'm like, it does actually help a little bit. I'm trying not to overdo it because nobody told me to take iron, but like, it's like, I feel fucking dizzy. That's not normal. Positively or negatively, people can be incredibly exhausting. Yeah, I'm very seriously considering after I get done with stream, getting my fucking gun range hearing protection and putting on a face mask and just fucking laying in bed for a while. Don't overdo iron supplements, otherwise Magneto will fuck you up. See, Magneto won't have any reason to fuck me up because I'm gonna be like, you right though. You know, I'm gonna be like, no, he right though. You wanted to come into this building, sir? You know, right after you. I'll hold the door open for you. You don't really need me to hold the door open for you, but I will. After you. Later, Cliff. Have fun. I haven't done any pumpkin this month, but I'm gonna. It's actually pretty nice. I carved pumpkins this time, and I'm happy with it. They got moldy almost immediately. It's pretty crazy. I need to go in and like get some cinnamon and dust it around. I love how time has just proven Magneto right about everything. He is just correct about literally objectively everything. I heard them talking about like doing a new X-Men and like redoing it as them older and stuff. And I'm like, how do you do that? It is an integral part of the character that he is a Jew who was in the Holocaust. So how are you going to update that for a now time? How are you going to update that for a person to now be an adult in the now modern time? Doesn't make fucking sense. Anyway. Sleep is so good for your brain. Oh, I wasn't even talking about sleeping. I'm just talking about having a sensory deprivation experience for like 20 minutes. Easy, he has a secondary mutation where he ages slower. Done. Does that mean that he's going to outlive Xavier? Palestinian, true. He could be Palestinian. Faulty Branches says, I started waking up at 5 a.m. after a camping trip once, and I have kept that up for 2 years now just to have an extremely quiet alone time in the mornings. I struggle with my symptoms a lot in the mornings, but genuinely I am kind of considering it. If I had an office where I could go and really like go be separate, my office is not set up that way right now. like you have to walk through my office to get to other places in my house, basically. Um, so it's not entirely private. But if I did have a place that was like actually totally private, I would probably be already waking up super early in the morning, even if it means that I just go lay on the floor for a while. Because I was just thinking about it, like, there's an expectation that like my partner expects me to respond if he messages me during the day, even if I have shit that I'm trying to do. And my younger sibling sometimes needs things from me. And, obviously, like, I choose to be in those relationships. I love both of them. But also, there's like this feeling like I'm on call at all times. And that's kind of gotten a little bit worse even now because, where even is my phone? Because I have Takis and, or I mean, I do work on the line in general now, and Jimmy will just randomly call me and like needs something. So I was actually just thinking like, I think I might need to stay up really late tonight so that I have some alone time where I know for sure that no one's going to need anything from me. Meta stream question: do you have any sound treatment in that room? Your audio is super clean and smooth. Yeah. This whole room is this room is designed in a way that it's decorated, but it's decorated in a way that also functions as soundproofing. So yeah, I have put probably like a good amount of effort into sound treating this room. I also use an incredibly high quality microphone. So yeah, there's shit everywhere that is reducing the amount of echo in here. It's noticeable in this room compared to other rooms in the house. Like you'll be, like I said, you have to walk through here to get to other shit. So you'll be in one of the other rooms and then walk through here, and there's a noticeable, like, close, quiet feeling in here. It's pretty cool. I'm very happy with the way that I've set up my office. Obviously, it sucks that people walk through here, or that, like, they can't walk through here while I'm doing my show. But yeah. I do think it would be weird if in 100 years they're still struggling to make it fit that Magneto is a Holocaust survivor. Well, I think it would be weird in 100 years if they can't fucking figure out how to tell an original story. If they need to tell the story of fucking Magneto and Charles Xavier for the 6th or 7th time in 100 years. Like, I'm like, collectively we have to say, and now these characters can be put down and we don't need to continue telling stories with these same people. I can hold conversations in my sleep. Yeah, that gets my partner sometimes. Like, I'll be like, hey, are you ready to come to bed? And it will seem as though he's having like a mostly cogent conversation, but then he'll be mad later if I like didn't wake him up or something, That's what my mornings have become, a period of time where the world isn't active and begging for attention. Yeah. Maybe I should just, because part of the issue that I am having is my partner really values his time in the morning. So if I were to be, in the kitchen while he's trying to get ready for work and stuff, he would be annoyed by that. Because he doesn't, I mean, maybe it would be different now because that was kind of the situation we were dealing with before. Now he does have more privacy than previously, so maybe he would be more cool with it now. But also, we are both pretty bitchy in the morning. I don't want to see him in the morning. I don't want to talk to him in the morning. I would like at least one filmmaker get them fully right before we drop them. Do we not feel like the ones from the 90s were good? I guess I haven't rewatched them since I was young. Oh, Dally, you got a big-ass mug? I forgot you had sweatpants in the store. Yeah, sweatpants in the store. Got any advice for me to make my audio better? Unfortunately, I rarely get to do lives from a consistent location. Most of my videos are filmed in my car, but I can't really stream from there. Yeah, a compressor and a noise gate. So, this is a lav set that someone, thank you, Viren, for kicking us off on the donations. Someone finished buying this in the little, you can contribute on Throne. I bought a 2-set, or I had a 2-set on my wish list. But this is a lavalier mic, and it has a receiver that you plug into your phone or your camera or whatever, and it functions as a microphone on the phone. And it also comes with a couple dead cats. So the like little pop filter that goes on the top of it. That's what I would recommend. This is the microphone that Jimmy recommended to me when I was asking him what he thought I should get for a lavalier mic a couple years back. And so yeah, if you're like, I want good quality audio, but I'm often streaming from my phone, you need like a high quality lavalier mic. But no, I'm saying like Faulty, I kind of want to become a 5 a.m. person, and the only reason that I can't is because I think it would piss my partner off. Do you have a link to that model? Let me try to find it for you. It's a DJI lavalier mic. Pick it up on Throne. I'm so tired and irritated. I use my laptop to stream. I just can't set up a soundproof room to stream in. I stream from friends' places usually. Yeah, well, the lavalier mic, it should, if there is a USB-C port on the laptop, then you should be able to plug the receiver in to the USB-C port on the computer. I have not yet tried to do that with my computer. It is what I plan to try to do. Yeah, you can tell that Lux knows its way around a condenser, talking to the side to avoid the cracks and pops. When you use them right, the audio is butter. Yeah, this was actually something I only just recently learned about, but yeah, it's pretty... Because part of the problem was I kept trying to put it directly in front of my face, and it just wasn't working with the way that I have my shit set up on my desk, so it actually, for higher sound quality, works better to put it off to the side. Boom. Everything works out just fine. Okay, DJI. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm just gonna... hold on. Can I... Is there a share button? Okay, I will DM it to you. Where are you, Mephi? Oh my god, why is that link huge? Okay, I'm just gonna give you the text. Just put that in Google. At least you know what it looks like. Why are we talking about fucking King Arthur all of a sudden? Dead cats? Yeah, that's what these things are called. That's what a little, like, this little fuzzball pop filter thing is called. I don't know why, I just learned that this week. The link is because I'm in Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. True. A lot of links will have tracking stuff that you can delete without it affecting the usability. Yeah, no, it's sometimes hard to tell where in the URL is necessary data versus unnecessary data. So I figured if she can find it by copy pasting the text. it looks like a dead cat, and that's why it's like tribble balls. That's kind of more what I think. It's like tribble balls. This is my tribble collection. These are baby tribbles, baby tribbles. What, do you mean to tell me that there weren't enough Star Trek fans present when we decided we needed a name for these? Shameful. Okay, cool. I'm glad you found it, Mama. I have no idea. I went to get coffee, came back, and saw King Arthur. Okay, fair enough. You gotta nerd out. Do you know if the call from Clyde to you and Matt will be a YouTube segment? I haven't seen it uploaded yet, and that was funny as hell. I never know what Arden plans to do. She is the editor. She makes all of the decisions about which clips go live on the channel. I'm pretty sure anyway. I don't think Jimmy's part of that decision-making process. But I am also uploading clips now. Well, like what I'm going to do is I'm going to be at the beginning of the video and say, "Hey, it's me. We took this call recently. It was crazy." And then watch the call. And then at the end, I'm going to come back in and be like, "So here's what was interesting about that call. Here's where it got frustrating. You know, here's where I could have done something differently, whatever." I have one that I'm planning to upload tomorrow. And Clyde's is on my list of potential spicy calls to do this with. I haven't really made like a solid decision yet, but just be on the lookout. I am starting to upload clips from the line on my channel starting tomorrow. So yeah, hopefully y'all will enjoy that. The tribbles in TOS, terms of service, Lamau, fucking kill me. The tribbles in the original series were literally just sewn up carpet samples. That's funny. The fact that Arden is only a year older than me makes me feel inadequate as a content creator. I like, you work at a nonprofit. She probably feels jealous of you and the direct effect that you get to have on people and things. Like, we are constantly asking ourselves if what we're doing is effective. I feel like you get such a more direct feedback of like whether what you did worked or whether what you did helped people or not. So yeah, everybody's different. Everybody's perspective is different. Just because Arden is friends with Jimmy and was able to acquire the position with the line through that relationship, you know, doesn't mean she's better than you. Nom 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 nom. Was Clyde the one that was like, "I can tell who has a penis or not"? Was that the call that was? Potato. Oh, I forgot that there was a potato emoji. Yeah, thank you, Nethercat. I am feeling very much like a potato today. Fuzzy Logic says, with those clips, are you just going to top and tail them, or might you try doing an okay stop style reaction where you pause for commentary? At the present time, my intention is to just top and tail them. The reason for that is because one of them requires a lot more time investment from me than the other. And of course, as a person who functionally has like 3 jobs, I'm always thinking of how to optimize my time. So that's my current plan. I know that people like the React Andy thing where it's like I'm pausing and reacting during it, but then I have to physically sit there and watch the whole episode while I'm recording myself. And what I am doing right now is I have a full transcript and I'm mostly just reading the transcript. Now, to be fair, I'm reading a 38-minute transcript. So I read the transcript and I was like, okay, here's the things that I thought were interesting about this. And then I recorded my intro and outro kind of all in one and then edited it together. So if maybe in the future with shorter calls, maybe if we have like a 10-15 minute call, it might be worth it to do like more of a react through kind of thing. But we'll see. The way I perceive most streamers, they got the money and situation to be able to stream. A lot more privilege is there than many folks will admit. It's tough. Like, okay, of course I come at it from a perspective of like, I am fucking disabled, you know? So to me, it doesn't necessarily feel like a privilege sometimes. Like sometimes it feels like I can't do anything else. And so this is the only option that I have. Of course, there is some amount of privilege because, you know, my partner is a gamer and he got me into being a gamer. And so I have a high quality computer. We have been able to afford high quality computer parts or high-ish quality computer parts. And like that is a privilege. But also, like, there have been times where I really didn't like this job and it has just felt like, well, I can't do anything else. But that also does sometimes give me like a feeling of ownership over streaming, where it does annoy me if it seems like someone else is fully fucking capable of having a normal job and instead they do this, which, like, you know, obviously it's not like it's not work, but it's accessible work for disabled people. And it does sometimes feel like there's a limited amount of attention that people can possibly give. And so, yeah, if someone is like completely able-bodied, you know, mostly neurotypical, especially like white dudes, I'm thinking of Xander Hall specifically right now. Like if you're a white dude who basically should be able to do fucking anything, and you are here doing this, it really kind of feels like an encroachment on something that is, you know, it's accessible to me and other disabled people. Like, I don't know. Hello, Goblin says, what time do you start streaming? I always forget until you're already on, and I go to watch the line and see, oh, Lux is on. I start on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Central, which, so I'm seeing it's now 6 p.m. Central, which is when Matt starts. So I start 2 hours before Matt. If you want to watch Matt, you can still get 2 hours of me beforehand. There have been a couple times where I've been on the Wednesday show with Matt and I just don't stream my own show those nights. I script most of my videos, even when I just film on my phone. My phone lets me split screen apps so I can have my notes app and TikTok open at the same time. Nice. Wish I could do some streaming. Did for a little while until things went to shit. Yeah, no kidding. Ah, I'm so itchy. I'm trying to have dual income streams so I can eventually make a switch to full-time activism work that doesn't pay as much as my current job. Yeah, I think that I have to look into it. Streamlabs, I know that I saw something. I know that dual stream used to be something that was only if you pay them $150. But if I can do streaming to just 2 platforms, just YouTube and Twitch, I could start getting a dual income streaming situation set up. I don't know a lot of the rules for streaming on Twitch, and I honestly don't even know if I would be making much money on Twitch or if that would just be like I have access to more of an audience, which then means that I get more donations on my website, you know? Streamlabs dual streaming is free. It wasn't I thought that it wasn't for a long time, and so that's a recent development maybe. I think that I did just get a notification on Sunday. Stream Elements dual streaming. Low card just passing by. Stay strong. Thank you. You too. Don't get me wrong, we do good work at my job, but it feels very normie and precarious as the only trans person in the company. Yeah, fair. I don't know about Streamlabs, but I'm poor, so I use Restream. Up to 3 channels on the most basic plan, $19 a month. Yeah, I did look into that. I just feel like I can't justify paying for things, I think is where the problem comes in. pretty sure OBS can dual stream for free, but I haven't actually tried it yet. OBS can dual stream for free if you know how to program it. And also if you don't already have integrations with your website. Like when you guys donate to me on my website and it pops up on here and says, hey, somebody sent you a donation. That is only possible because of Streamlabs having an integration with my website donation function, as far as I know. And that's something that White Nervosa has set up. I guess I don't have to have a White Nervosa website, but it is pretty convenient. I think I owe her money. I think I need to pay her money right now. No, like, and I agree, Shakespeare. Like, I do think that when a person who is otherwise able to work chooses to become a streamer, that does sometimes feel like, okay, you're a super privileged person who's like basically choosing to do an easy job making money, and like it's all about you and your personality, and like, you know, that's annoying if a privileged person is doing it. Do you know a good way to take calls or guests to where you can mute them? TikTok allows them to unmute themselves for some reason. I mean, we use Call-In Studio and we have to pay 3 cents per minute for every connection. So, like, for each host that's connected, for each call screener, you know, like, it's... Yeah. I don't really know of another good way to do it. You could do it over Discord, I guess. But Discord sometimes have very shit call quality, so I don't know. Abigail Thorne and Jessie Gender trying to relate to the trans community. It's like, sister, our struggles are not the same. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't want to be like unnecessarily shitty to people who just so happen to be successful. I don't know. They have different struggles. Like, we have a lot of stuff in common, even if we don't have the economic problems in common. Later, Guzman. Have fun. Privilege should just be a lens through which to analyze the statistical factors contributing to one's place and biases in the world, not an excuse to be crabs in a bucket. Yeah, I mean, like, it is frustrating. Like, I'm not gonna try to say that, yeah. Like, Hassan being a streamer, that feels like really privileged, even though he's not white. Like, you know, I get it. Ember suggests, are you saying taking calls through the web client of Call-In Studio? I did not know that y'all literally pay for the minutes. No wonder Matt gets so fed up with meandering ramblers. I don't really think Matt cares very much about how much money we spend on Call-In Studio. But, you know, he's got, like, plenty of other reasons to be pissed off at people being obnoxious. The big thing I keep hearing from folks that dual or more stream is that they then have to deal with the multiple chats or turn them off, and I don't feel like they benefit from doing it much. I already have 2 chats. I think what would happen is that I think YouTube and Twitch chats would combine on Streamlabs, so I would still have 2 chats, I think. One of them would just be combined, and then I would have my website chat. Twitch does have special rules about how you're not supposed to tell people to go to a different chat. So I could maybe say, I also have my website chat, but I cannot tell people to go there. The rules on Twitch are strange. But it would basically potentially tap into a completely separate audience that does not watch YouTube streams, period. And then those people could donate to me through my website. Like, I think that it would be okay for me to say, I have a chat on my website, but more importantly, if you want to donate directly to me, because I'm not a partner on Twitch, you can donate to me through my website. I don't know. I haven't looked into it in a bit. I appreciate it, Fuzzy. Might not be necessary because of the new multi-streaming thing on Streamlabs, but we will look into it. Okay, so Ember is suggesting to Mephi screening a call in Discord, StreamYard, or whatever, and having them join the Streamlabs using a guest link. I have no idea. I think she's streaming directly to TikTok through TikTok's streaming service. So I don't know if it's like even an option to connect with Streamlabs. Or that's like an extra step. Now we've talked about it so much that I need to do a live tonight. I'll be on at like 10:30 Central. Ask me about the leg day workout I'm doing. Yeah, have fun. Yeah, Streamlabs is a good free service to use. Javon would use Google Voice to take callers, so Google Voice is also an option. Okay, I really need to step away and refill my water and rest my voice for a minute. I'm so fucking tired. I don't know how much longer the stream today is going to be, because I just don't feel good. But I'll take a little break. I'll sit down for a minute, and then we'll get back to it. Let me give you some music. We're gonna do... here, we'll do this one. See you in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Did not mean for the music to stop before I got back. Now I have water. Everybody's leaving for the line. I feel like Matt and I have such different energies that there are going to be people who are like, oh, I'm so psyched that Matt and Lux are on the line together. But I do also feel like for the most part, it's likely that people are either a fan of Matt or a fan of Luxander. Because we just have very different ways of talking to people. It's very, very, very different approaches to the call-in show dynamic. T4 pizza, hell yeah. Working on a drawing, hell yeah, dude. I made a watercolor recently. I started working on another watercolor and then I accidentally got food on it and I'm really bummed. And I was kind of thinking of throwing it in the trash instead of continuing to work on it. I don't know. It was pretty early in the process. Goodbye, Shakespeare. Good night. Yeah, it was pretty early in the process that I fucked up the painting. So I don't know. Sometimes nobody asks for the crossover, says Mephi. Like when I do my Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin as Marcus the Worm impression. Was Vincent D'Onofrio, he did a guest voice in BoJack Horseman? Or did they just evoke him and they couldn't get him to actually do the voice? I feel like they would always goof up the character, make it like more goofy if they didn't agree to do the voiceover. Like Andrew Garfield, they did him dirty in BoJack Horseman. Anyway, highly specific references. Do people generally agree with me with my thinking that people are either Matt Dillahunty fans or they're Luxander fans? Maybe people have eclectic tastes. They like both of us. So we're very different, but they like us for different reasons. I don't know, possibly. I remembered that I looked up something about Oregon's universal health care thing earlier, and I wanted to finish looking up what I was looking up before. I never got a handle on watercolor. I just never had the patience to wait for the water and the paint to settle before adding more. So I think that the watercolors that I got dry too fast, but there's kind of two different ways to do watercolor. Well, there's actually several, but like broadly speaking, you can either do wet on dry or wet on wet. You kind of like Bob Ross. Bob Ross did a wet on wet oil painting style. So he would always prep his canvas with a coat of whitish paint. So there was already paint on before he ever started. And I think that might be something that people get tripped up on when they're trying to recreate a Bob Ross painting. But my problem that I'm running into is that I got a book that gives you some exercises to try with watercolor. And it wants me to do a bunch of wet on wet techniques, but like I've used two different kinds of paper and they both don't do very well with the wet on wet technique. Like they seem to dry too fast. And I think that it's actually because I got like probably the lowest quality watercolor paints I could have gotten. Of course, I'm going to still use them, but they just work much better with a wet on dry technique because they dry so fast. The energy is different between you and Matt, and I like you both, though I do hang around here more. Yeah, fair. Trans person thinking there's a binary caught in 4K gone wrong. Neat! Does it still work the way that I think that it does? Does it actually flash and stuff? Yeah, it totally does. Cute. Try doing the watercolors in Asana. Why didn't I think of that? Probably because I would die. I would not feel good in a sauna. I would be like, please let me leave. Please let me escape these wet bulb temperatures. I would like to claw my skin off. was I? Okay. They initiated the task force on universal healthcare in 2022. What is the most recent news on this? What's the most recent news on Oregon universal healthcare? Okay. In 2022, let's see. In 2022, Oregonians narrowly passed Measure 111, amending their constitution and guaranteeing affordable health care as a fundamental right. Jesus. To every resident of the state. Through years of organizing, coalition building, and planning, Oregon may enact its universal health plan as early as fall 2027. In the face of extreme Medicaid cuts from the Trump administration, which will leave roughly 16 million people without coverage by the year 2034, a state-level universal plan could mean the difference between cared for, insured patients and thousands of preventable deaths. Oregon's single-payer healthcare dream still has hurdles to overcome, but with a constitutional amendment voted in by the people, it may have a leg up over previous state-level campaigns, such as Vermont's Green Mountain Care in the early 2010s. Even so, a clear understanding of what went wrong in previous campaigns, as well as continued organizing in Oregon, is needed to push it through. If successful, Oregon could lead by example and set the stage for a better, more efficient healthcare system in other states. While a national campaign isn't on the table, organizers can look to Oregon for how to push a bold health agenda in their state. Hey, do you guys remember when the Affordable Care Act passed and that was the fucking compromise position between Medicare for all, i.e., something like a universal healthcare system, versus like let her rip private healthcare into like private health insurance? Matt has jaded old man who is sick of your shit vibes, and I don't have a problem with that. Although before, it was really off-putting how he would claim to be against extremism. Was it off-putting? Or are you saying, is it hypocritical somehow of him? Okay, I don't care about what happened in Vermont. I want to know what is happening in Oregon. According to Colin Stackhouse, a communications coordinator for Healthcare for All Oregon, or HCAO, Oregon's Universal Plan Governance Board aims to propose the next draft of the healthcare plan in fall 2025. So, like, this article came out in August. I haven't seen any new news about this, so they need to fucking hurry it up. Stackhouse and multiple other HCAO members and affiliates serve on the Universal Health Plan Governance Board and its 4 committees. Over the past 3 years, HCAO has built a multifaceted organizing apparatus with an emphasis on community outreach and voter education. They've conducted crowd canvassing, tabling at events, and given presentations with a wide variety of community organizations, such as faith groups, Rotary clubs, and neighborhood associations. So, yeah, we're continuing to put on public pressure, basically. I follow these people on Instagram, Healthcare for All Oregon. And yeah, they march in pride parades. They table at all kinds of different events. They answer questions. Basically, they keep people educated to make sure that we maintain public support and public pressure for this initiative. And what I was hoping to see, what I was looking for was, okay, it's fall 2025. Have they given us the plan? Like, what I'm saying is, like, the healthcare plan, i.e., how do we pay for universal healthcare? That is supposed to be here as of this fall. It's not here yet, which is annoying. I guess technically fall, they have until like midway through December, and it's still technically autumn. I'm not saying it's hypocritical. Okay, I guess I'm not sure how it was off-putting then. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything, though. I remember the right-wing radio talking about death panels when the ACA was being discussed, as though that isn't a thing that insurance already does effectively anyway. Dude, imagine fucking complaining about death panels during a time when insurance could choose to drop you when you get diagnosed with cancer. Like, people don't remember. People don't understand. If you had health insurance and you got cancer, your health insurance could legally drop you as a customer. A service that you had been paying for potentially years could just drop you. That's what the pre-existing conditions thing is about. That is the thing. And also like pregnancy and things, like you just like drop you because you're pregnant, because they don't cover whatever. Like, I don't know. That was the reality. And just imagine being like, whatever, these death panels, so many people are going to die under Obama, when literally fucking that was already happening. They have been twisting reality for much longer than I was aware, because I didn't pay that much attention during the ACA. Like, I was not politically tapped in that way. I was doing the whole like, I'm aware of gay activism and shit, but I wasn't as like politically activated. Generally, I was just like, yeah, Obama is a Democrat. That's good. Democrat, good. ACA changed so much for the better. It still wasn't where we should be, but it was miles ahead of where we were before that. Yeah. And the fact that like the ACA was the compromise position between the Democrats, who were, as a group, mostly supporting the idea of a Medicare for all, M4A. And then for now, it's like, it would be, I think that a Democrat would just be laughed out of the chamber if they brought up, you know, Medicare for all. Like, we are so beyond a conversation about ensuring that everyone has access to healthcare. It's just like not even in the cards to have that conversation right now. It's crazy. Yeah, this is the country of people who like the Affordable Care Act but hate Obamacare. They do not understand that it is the same thing. The argument here is your tax dollars should give you healthcare versus that's communism. It's frankly embarrassing that people in our country don't overwhelmingly support universal healthcare. I mean, I agree with the people who have been saying that there is something to be said for the fact that Americans do not get enough time off and do not make enough money to travel. Like, I think we're getting a little bit into conspiracy theory range of like, how much could this possibly be intentional versus how much of this is just sort of incidental. But it does seem a little bit interesting that when Americans go other places, if they travel to Europe or something like that, they can see that life is a lot better. And if they have a health emergency, they're like, oh, wow, even as a non-citizen, I have to pay so much less than what I would have to pay back home. Oh, the food is so much better. I just kind of feel generally better here because there's a better air quality and, more social cohesion, and the food is higher quality and stuff. And like, then you come back to America and you see how fucking shitty it is. Yeah, I think if more Americans could travel, I mean, and part of it, I guess, is also that like our country is huge. And so people can travel within our country and still feel like they've traveled meaningfully, even though it's really not that meaningful of a difference. And also, like, getting a passport and all that shit is like an additional barrier. But, and I mean, yeah, like that, I guess, is another thing. Why is it that in the UK, it seems like everybody's default ID is their passport, which means that it's probably easy to get a hold of one? Meanwhile, in the United States, your primary form of identification, probably for most people, is a driver's license. So, that's interesting. Hi, pretty baby. Do you want to come say hi? Hi. Are you baby? I'm going to pick you up. That's what's about to happen. You know that, right? That's what happens when you come in here. Yeah? Okay. Okay, I'm coming. He's a baby boy. Mr. Baby Boy. Hi. Mm-hmm. I was like, maybe you could hear him purring a little bit. He's so quiet. No. No, you came over here. This is your fault. Tell him Murph for us. Murph. He said Murph. Yeah? No, you can't go anywhere. No, you're my kitty. You're my friend. You stay up here. My cat's over 10 years old and he's still my baby boy. I think this cat is like, I want to say he's like 15. Are you 15? You old boy? Old baby? Kiss, kiss. Okay, one more. Mm-hmm. Okay, bye-bye. What? Do you want in the chair? Here, come here. Hey, come here. I'm just gonna put him in the chair. Everyone can get a passport. Problem is you need valid ID to get benefits, and passport is like 85 quid, so that's an issue. I want to just check something real quick. Okay, so a passport in the UK costs 85 quid, which is about $113 US. A passport in the United States, I think at minimum costs $150. And that does not count the fact that you have to have a professional photo taken, which on its own is probably at least going to be 20 bucks. So yeah, like versus like passport cost USD. Okay, yeah. So there's a $130 application fee, a $35 acceptance fee. If you want a passport card, like the one that's more the size of like a driver's license, that's $65 and it's on top of everything else. And that all does not count the fact that you have to have a professional photo taken. So a passport costs roughly double here what it costs in the UK. Or maybe double is a little bit of an exaggeration, but like it costs at least 60% more. Hi, baby. What do you want? Why? Why you talk to me? All he wants is butt scratches. That's all I'm good for. Me seeing a cat. A baby, I love them. Versus me seeing a human baby. Pfft, little idiot. I feel like, yeah, I've been like contemplating more like, do I want to try to have a kid? Like, you know, I spend a long fucking time thinking about these things. So like, even if it's not even going to be in the cards for 5 more years, because I'm probably not going to do it until I own a house, I'm still going to spend a long time thinking about it and like make sure I'm sure, right? I feel like other people's kids are always going to be like, wow, that's a stupid little idiot that belongs to someone else. But then when it's your own kid, you're like, my angel. I made the US post office do my photo. It's 20 bucks. Yeah. My mom's cat Cosmo is a Russian blue with a missing eyebrow. Cute. What? You weirdo? What do you want? What do you want? I want you all to know. So I think what happened is someone paid for this lavalier mic so that I could put it on the cat. So I want you to know that I'm working on it. I'm planning to do I need to do some tests to see if I can make the lavalier mic connect to my computer and then make sure the microphone input can show up in Streamlabs. I also need to buy him a collar so that and then get him used to wearing a collar so that I can then attach a microphone to his collar so that we can have like cat noise on the stream. So I'm just letting you know that it's a work in progress. It's just going to require me to do some testing, and it's honestly kind of a bitch getting to my computer right now. So my tower is just not conveniently located at the moment. What do you want? Yeah? Yeah, you're a baby. I know that about you. Evil? What's evil? What did I say something was evil? I wouldn't say angel, but it is different when it's your own ball of evil in tiny primate form. Oh, okay, the evil. Okay, got it, got it, got it. Yeah, when it's your own spawn, it seems like it's different. Had squirrels in the attic space directly above my bed for a month, and I finally trapped one. Had to dispatch it with the pellet gun tonight, though. Rip to one of the squirrels that's been waking me up every night. Hopefully a little fox will be happy with the meal, though. Holy cow. I mean, I would keep the bones, probably, but that's obnoxious. You can't get a pest control out there? Oh my god, you're such a weirdo, dude. His butt is really sensitive right now from possibly fleas. And so when you touch his butt, he's like, like that's not an exaggeration. That's what he's like. And sometimes he'll bite you. I think he's trying to do that thing that they do when they're grooming you, but he just sometimes chomps down and bites you. He really got me good the other day. Got a passport photo at Walgreens. What did that cost you? 20 bucks at least? Ember says, in fairness, only 50% of my progeny are or were the product of evil. Maybe 75%. Oh no. Babies. They can be evil. I hired pest control and they didn't do shit. Okay, cool. Someone was telling me that their dad would catch squirrels in the yard with like with a trap, like an animal trap, and then spray paint their tails like orange and then drive them far away and dump them, and then if they ever saw a squirrel in their yard with a spray painted orange tail, they would then dispatch them with the 22 or whatever. And I was like, honestly, that seems completely fair. Fuck squirrels. That seems more than fair. Mm. Pest control just gave me traps eventually and said, have fun. Yeah, I guess it's not something that can necessarily be done overnight. Like, either they leave out poison and then you have mammals dying horribly in your attic and then they're going to die there and like the smell or whatever, or you have to trap them probably one at a time, which would take time. Okay, June is asking us to help. You or someone here might know my kid, 10 years old, just expressed an interest in learning longsword arts. What do I do to look up places for him to learn? I would say start them in fencing. I know that it's going to be boring by comparison, but it will get you into the communities of people who do longsword arts. Like, so I would say start there because you're more likely to find like a fencing team or a fencing league, or, you know, that would be where I would start. And it might even be useful to take fencing to learn some of the basics of form that you could then translate over into longsword. Mabs, that is terrifying. Mabs says, a group of hornets once nested in the doorframe that led to the patio of my mom's house. The buzzing was getting louder and louder till they finally burst through into the house. Hundreds of them. That's terrible. I hate it. Awful. What do you want? What? You have been very needy today, and I don't appreciate it. Also, we are recommending HEMA, Historical European Martial Arts, HEMA. Also, that is where you would find things for specifically longsword or other Western sword styles. Okay, yeah, so HEMA, Historical European Martial Arts, as well as fencing. Those are some keywords that you could look for. House for sale, some hornets and walls. No, I think that was like I wanted to make a joke about insurance fraud, and then I decided not to. You can probably you can probably figure it out. Cat meow Lux. OMG, you're so needy. Okay, but listen. It's like, okay, so before I even got out of bed today, and to be fair, I stayed in bed a little bit later than usual. But before I even left my bedroom today, he was like, rah, 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 like really loud. And so he was like being really needy. And then when I finally did wake up, and I mean, I was awake the whole time, but you know what I mean? When I finally got my booty going, brushed my teeth and shit, and it came out here, then he's like literally sitting next to my chair and just staring at me for like 10 minutes at a time. And I'll bring him into my lap and let him sit there, but it's like I can't let him sit there for very long because he's heavy and it's uncomfortable. And then just periodically throughout the whole day, he's like, hey, I really need your attention. And I'm like, I fucking promise that you don't. This is why I'm thinking about getting him a kitten. Because I'm like, you need somebody to keep you entertained who isn't me. Like, you need somebody who's not me to enjoy spending time with. So, yeah, he's just a needy little punk all the time. I know. But I also try to, I try to have some compassion for it. I imagine, what would it be like if I was like a little tiny creature who was kind of alone all the time, and like if I wanted attention from somebody who wasn't giving it to me, if basically all I did all day was like lay around and I didn't really have much like play time and everything, like, yeah, I'd be fucking depressed. So I try to, even though it's obnoxious, I try to give him more of my time and attention than I really want to, just to make sure that he, is okay. And he probably needs more than what I'm able to give him, but you need another Black Void. That's kind of immaterial. What's going to happen is I'm going to go to the Humane Society and I'm going to say, I have a cat. Here's what he's like. Here's the kind of cat that we're looking for to help fill that void. And then the Humane Society can go, I think this cat might be good for that. And I'll be like, okay, thank you for your recommendation. Is it cute? Yes, no, probably going to take it. But it's going to be a while before we can do that, because I definitely need like a couple more months of like, like I'm about to get my first paycheck that has any production stuff on it. It's not going to be a full month. So it's not going to be like, oh, this is what my regular paychecks are going to be like from now on. Not until November. But, and even then, shit, November's paycheck is probably going to be way fatter than what it will, quote, normally be like, because I have taken on so much overtime this month. But yeah, I need a couple more stable months. How many cats do you have? They're social to the point where 2 cats is the minimum, really. I only have 1, but I used to have 3. And honestly, he seems way happier now that he doesn't have the other 2. Like, he was from an environment where there were way too many other animals. So honestly, it has seemed like he's really happy being an only cat. But now that we're a couple years into that, like Deacon the Mighty died in, I want to say it was 22, and then Lucy died like the following year. I don't know. I can't remember. Or maybe it was 21 and then 22. But yeah, so it's only been a couple of years now, and he's been an only cat, and it seemed mostly like he's into it. But yeah, now he seems like he needs a lot of attention and stuff. And I'm sure he's bored. He doesn't really play very well, but I wonder if maybe it would be better if he had a cat to play with instead of. He gets really freaked out if he like accidentally claws one of us, which is kind of weird. He's a good boy, though. Emma, hello. How's things going? Is it not 2 a.m. where you are right now? Insomnia. Cats get needier as they age. Okay, yeah, he is 15. He does want. I hate when I have to stop watching the stream to do the stuff I'm paid to do. I'm sorry, Meffy. Salute you. Hi, Kitty Tick. Kitty Tick says, for the person with a kid wanting to do longsword, look up if there's a local chapter of Belagarth. It's a medieval combat society where they do LARP full-scale battles in parks and stuff. If kiddo wants to practice with a weighted version, make one out of padded bamboo with a piece of rebar going from hilt to tip. There are a lot of really good sword fighters that participate. Oh, and hi. Hello. I was always told that cats don't really need companions, but I suspect the needs of the domestic cat has shifted from that of the wilder ancestors, like we've bred them to be more social. Actually, wild cats do live in colonies. They live in colonies. They're social. It sort of depends on what species and everything, but like the African wildcat, which is the most similar. That's where domestic cats come from, is the African wildcat. Okay, so African wildcats do not form colonies. Okay, so maybe you're right that they did. So, but okay, I see what you're saying. The process of domesticating cats into Felis catus, which is different from the African wildcat. I see what you're saying. That makes perfect sense. So yeah, but so they do live in colonies, domesticated wise. It's almost 1 a.m. I'm about to go to sleep, just dropping by. Nice. I still do my streams on Sunday, really early in the day. So if you want to stop by on Sundays, I start at 11 a.m. Pacific time, whatever that translates to for you. So, but good to see you. I hope you're having a good night. I hope you sleep well. Cats domesticated humans, not the other way around. One of our cats at home passed away in 2020. It was fine at first for our other cat because we were all stuck at home with her, but when everybody had to go back to in-office work, she got very lonely and we needed to get her a little kitten who she bullied relentlessly until he got too big. Yeah, that's about right. I kind of want a cat that will bully Mitternacht is kind of what I want. I want a cat that's gonna force him to be more playful, kind of. But, got to be careful about how to introduce those dynamics. Is it true cats just started hanging around and we fed them? Yeah, that's my understanding, is basically that they, like we started storing grain and other food for long periods of time. And the mice or rats would get into the food. And then so cats just started naturally being nearby because there were always a lot of rats and mice near the grain or other food storage. That's my broad understanding. I don't know how much veracity that possesses. But that's, basically the idea. And then then you're like, oh, there's a cute little animal. Like, ooh, then you try to entice it to get closer by feeding it food, and then suddenly you have cats. For the long-term health of the animals, the absolute best thing that you can do when you get a new cat is keep it in a separate room for at least like a week. So keep it like I might keep this new cat locked in my bedroom. And during that period of a week, probably for the first couple days, put something underneath the door to like block off the underneath the door. You get a wash rag, just a dry wash rag, and you pet both of the cats separately to start creating like a pack scent. And then you let the cats smell it. And so they start to integrate like a pack scent for a couple of days. Then you remove the towel or whatever it is on the bottom of the door so that they can smell each other from under the door. They're curious. They want to play with each other, but they have a full door so they feel fully protected from each other. And then usually after like about a week of that, you can very carefully introduce them. I might want to like reread everything that I've read about this before to make sure I do it right when I get closer to that time. The Egyptian word for cat is Mao. I love that because clearly some Egyptian person saw a cat and was like, "What is you? Mao. Okay, cool." Yeah, what are you? Meow. Okay, understood. It's like Pokemon being named after the thing that they say, you know? Like it kind of seems like what they meant for it to be was like, oh, they say their own name, like haha. But the way that it must actually have worked is that the animal just says the same word over and over again, and we just named it that. What do you want? Okay, he's not even looking at me. He's just standing there. I recently learned that squirrels can get toxoplasmosis and it makes them unafraid of cats. They will attempt to play with the cats. Yeah, I've seen mice do that. Like mice can get toxoplasmosis or something similar. And yeah, it just makes them not afraid of cats and they go right up to them. That's why sometimes I see videos of like, like a mouse going right up to a cat and the owner is like letting this happen. And I'm like, that is a sick mouse. You should not let it near your cat. Really, you shouldn't ever let any wild animals near your animals because you have no idea what diseases they could get. And then you could get a disease from your animal because it lives in your house. Don't fuck around with bird flu or any other zoonotic viruses or anything. They are so dangerous. Kingler should be named Cookie. Cookie, cookie, cookie. I feel so cursed and blessed simultaneously in this moment that I 100% knew what you meant and just referenced it and just kind of was like, yep. I did watch Pokemon, the animated series and movies as a child. Yeah. Yep, I did. Yeah, fucking rabies, no kidding. We tried to do that with our rescue cat, but she had a big personality and broke free almost immediately and met our other cat in the hallway. There was a lot of hissing, but they were cuddling up together within 3 days. Although I don't think our existing cat really had a choice. That's funny. Yeah, it's like there is an ideal way to do it, the way that seems to most reliably result in positive relationships. But even if you introduce them together perfectly, maybe they will never actually get along. It sort of depends. They're like people, sometimes we like or don't like other people for reasons we don't fully understand. Why don't we call dogs Borks? Because this is English. And Methy was talking about Egyptian? Was it ancient Egyptian or just regular Egyptian? Where the word for cat is Mao. I don't know. What do they call dogs in Egyptian? Maybe it's also an onomatopoeia. Oh my gosh. I'm God's eepiest soldier. I'm just never gonna stop being eepy. Modern Egyptian is a dialect of Arabic, I think. Do y'all remember I was telling you that the Spanish word for carrot is zanahoria? And how that's probably, it's like Arabic in etymology, so it's probably because of like the, oh my god, what is it called? The occupation of the Iberian Peninsula by the Moors? You were just talking about staying up late. Most of the time I don't. Last night I went to bed at 11 o'clock. I went to bed at 11 o'clock, and you know what? I didn't get up until like almost 9. So why am I tired? I guess I woke up closer to 8. I just didn't actually get my booty out of bed for a while. I don't usually stay up late. It's tricky to navigate like when it starts to get colder, because like I'll start off the night in one temperature zone, and then throughout the night there's different temperature needs. Like sometimes I'll start to get too hot, or sometimes I'll be too cold, and I wake up late. Or sorry, I wake up a lot. 11 is late for me. Yeah, I would say like 12 is typical. Typically, I'll go to bed at about 12, and I wake up around 7 or 8. You know? So I'm getting like 7 or 8 hours of sleep. The problem is that I can't fucking sleep through the night. Later, Dolly. Baby has this to say. True. Indeed, baby. Yeah, if I were staying up until 1 or 2, I would call that like, ooh, I stayed up really late last night. I love the cold, but when it does get, quote, cold here in Texas, it also gets super dry and my eczema goes crazy. I need to live somewhere cool and damp like a frog. Well, have I got news for you? Were you here, Meffy, earlier when I was saying that we have successfully convinced one of our Kansas friends to move up here? I'm like, and I also know someone else. I don't know her super well, but I've been Facebook friends with her for several years. She's considering moving and she doesn't know where yet. And I was like, well, if you decide to come up this way, let me know and I'll try to help you. I'm working on getting you all up here. Oh my gosh, what else do we have going on this week? It's like I don't have anything tomorrow. Well, some people that we know are going to be visiting from out of town, so we're thinking about like, you know, visiting with them or having them come over or something. I don't know what the fucking plan is, but that's going to be tomorrow. Otherwise, it would be a day where I think it was going to just like work on getting some more video stuff done. Yeah, growing up in Louisiana, never had a problem with dry air. I've been convinced to move up there as well when the situation in Texas becomes untenable. I feel like that's any fucking minute now, though. I want to help people here, but I sure as shit ain't gonna die in this hellhole. Yeah, no kidding. In Chicago, I have to remember to actually moisturize my hands now or they get itchy. Yeah. I think part of it, too, your skin quality can depend on the water quality, because I think, I don't really moisturize my skin anymore here. And it is a little bit more humid here on average throughout the year. But I think the bigger difference is that the water is much softer here. Like in Oregon, generally, they have pretty soft water, whereas in Kansas, it's like super mineral water. Will you give your opinion on some discourse? Sure. What's the discourse? What happened? What did we do this time? I don't sleep through the night either. One cat will start yelling and wake me up. I have to throw my blow high at it to get it to shut up. Then it has the audacity to climb in bed with me. We have a no cats in the bedroom at night rule. No cats in the bedroom at night. We used to have a more general no cats in the bedroom rule, period. And sometimes I do still keep the door shut, even during the day. But yeah, we don't fuck around with that. I don't fuck around with you interrupting my sleep as a cat. Where I live, the water is full of limestone. You need a heavy-duty water softener to get anything that's not like chalk. Yeah. What's the discourse? I don't know what the discourse is. I missed it. Okay, you know what? I'm going to sit down for the rest of the show. Hold on. It's like we can keep going, but we can only keep going if I sit down. Yeah. Sounds like your water there needs lemon added. True. Oh my god, why? There's lots of drama in multiple trans spaces about trans misogyny and the notion that some people are affected and others not. IDK. Trans misogyny exempt or trans misogyny affected? What's the new discourse on that? Is there a new discourse? Because I've heard the general idea before. Kitty says, I have to wake up and pee at least once a night for 7 to 8 years. Terrible level up at age 28 to 29. When I started the Spiro, it became a total shit show of waking up 2 to 5 times a night to pee sometimes. Oof, that's rough. Lots of people are saying the entire idea is intersexist / transphobic, etc. Yeah, I mean, okay, so here's the thing, is that, like, you cannot create clean dichotomies where you say, like, oh, this person is only affected by these things, and this person is only affected by these things, or this person is never affected by this. I think it's really childish. And here's why. Like, there's some people, okay, so it's like, okay, spicy, incoming. So people will be like, oh, male socialization doesn't exist. Or like, and like, I'm like, it does though. Like, whether it landed or not is different. But like, I was socialized female, even though I don't identify as a woman. Like, you know, I was treated a certain way. Of course, I felt alienated from it in a way that girls don't. But like, the idea that I'm not affected by misogyny because I'm not a woman, or like the idea that like it's somehow dicey to say that a trans man could be affected by misogyny, or like you know, the idea that trans men just automatically get male privilege by transitioning, and not that that's a very precarious thing and that not everybody passes and everything. So when you try to introduce these terms, trans misogyny exempt and trans misogyny affected, like, well, guess what? I have more, obviously trans misogyny doesn't equal misogyny. I'm using an example. Wow. I'm bringing it together from a broader context. Wait a second. If, like, okay, so how do we define these things? Do we define these things by the identity of the person, or do we identify these things based on how they're actually treated, right? So like a trans man, is it not possible for a trans man to be impacted by misogyny because they don't identify as a woman? That seems really silly. They might not have full access to male privilege either, but it would be ridiculous to say, like, you know, a trans man who has not transitioned yet Like, to say that it's somehow wrong to say that he's misogyn, or that he could be subject to misogyny because people still perceive him as a woman. You know, it would be goofy to say, like, you're exempt from misogyny. That time that someone raped you wasn't a form of sexist, misogynistic power because you identify as a man. Of course, it could have been corrective rape for trans men. That does happen, but, like, that's not what I'm saying. Or is it, so do we base it on people's identity or on how people are treated? Okay. Because I am not a trans woman. I'm not trans feminine. But I experience trans misogyny because people see me and they think I'm a trans woman. So I actually get hit with trans misogyny more than I get hit with regular misogyny, more than I get hit with broad transphobia. Like, the kind of transphobic comments that I get are almost exclusively nowadays, you're a man, you'll never be a woman, right? So does it make any fucking sense in any capacity to say that I'm trans misogyny exempt because I was assigned female when I was born? Like, that I could never be affected by trans misogyny? Or that, like, finding out that I have a pussy that I was born with would exempt me from corrective rape in that situation? Like, I don't know. It just seems dumb. It just seems incredibly stupid. Finn. I've always had cats and I love them, but I don't understand this whole letting them into your bedroom while you're sleeping thing. No. Especially because they want to lay on top of me, but I need to move. I need to roll over every hour or more. If a person thought I was black for whatever reason, as the whitest person alive, and they hurled a racial slur at me, that person would still be racist. Yeah. And, like, you know, there is a complication for, yeah, people who are like racially ambiguous or interracial. Is like, maybe someone might be like Native American, but they are receiving like anti-Mexican racism because of their skin color, you know? It's like, we cannot clearly say these people are affected by this, these people are not. These people can never have an opinion about this because blah, 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 whatever. Like, you know? Like, even my straight husband has been subject to homophobia. Just because he's not gay doesn't mean that he can't be affected by homophobia. So that's my opinion about that discourse. I think it's silly. It's so silly. Yawn. Mal. Oh my God. I'm God's eepiest soldier. I'm so glad I have arranged my life to where I don't have to cook dinner after stream. I'm like too tired. I do cook dinner after I produce on Mondays and Tuesdays. And I usually also do cook on Thursday. Well, that's a really interesting. I guess the difference is that I talk the whole time on Wednesday show for 4 hours, whereas on Thursdays, usually I'm anticipating more like a 3-hour show. But recently I've also been like doing doubles. I've been doing tacos and then getting on Calling It Now right after. So those are great days to do, you know, slow cooker food that I can throw in the morning. It's lit. My cat is currently sleeping on my stomach. I don't see the problem. He'll move as soon as I get up. I mean, I might have to dodge some claws when I do. That's the problem, is I'm asleep and I already struggle to sleep through the night. I feel like shit 70% of the time because I do not sleep very well. I already, like, sharing a bed with my partner where, like, we wake each other up. Like, he have restless legs sometimes, or he wants to cuddle and we get like hot in the middle of the night. Um, so like it's already difficult enough with another human being in the bed. And then you've got like a cat and he's got claws. My cat Lucy wanted to lay on top of me in bed. And when I would very gently lift him up off of me with the covers and then rotate my body underneath and then gently place him back down on my body, he would hiss at me. So we don't fuck around with cats in the bed at night. Maybe if someday I have a king size bed, but even then, probably not. Just not interested. Do not want you in my space. Do not want you trying to wake me up in the morning. Do not want you trying to lay on my face in the middle of the night. Do not want you needing me in the middle of the night. We're not dealing with this. You should make carnitas. What is carnitas? How do you make? My cat only bites my ankles a little when I sleep. Yeah, that would be a great way to get punted across the room, and I don't want to be that person. Being affected by homophobia and misogyny is part of the modern male experience. Bro, that's so true. I've never known anyone to be exempt from the perceptions and actions of others. No kidding. My cat jumps on my back to wake me up when I'm having a nightmare. Convenient, I guess. Crispy Mexican pulled pork. Okay. You just take some pork and you put it in the slow cooker. That could be yummy, I guess. I don't know how expensive pork is. We haven't eaten pork in a while. I'm basically like on lean ground beef, chicken breast or thighs. And then like I've been mixing in. I got lamb a couple times. Lamb is really good. I enjoy lamb. I've been doing shrimp. I got some bigger wild-caught shrimp this week. I've basically been getting like the farmed stuff from India, but I got some farmed shrimp from the Gulf of Mexico from a really nice fishery, and I am going to cook tempura shrimp on, that's my plan for Thursday, I guess. Tomorrow? Last night I did salmon. Tomorrow night I'm doing tempura shrimp. Or that was the fucking plan, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm like, we're going to be visiting with people or something tomorrow. All this food talk is making me so hungry. Yeah, it's that time of stream, I guess. I'm not even really that hungry. I should be. But while I took my little break an hour ago, I scarfed down a bag of those chips I was showing you. I was like, time to make a quick curry. The way I make curry cannot be done quickly. But I guess you can buy a curry sauce and then it can be done quickly. But I do think, June, I appreciate the recommendation of carnitas, but when I do a slow cooker meal with the intention of like getting it all done in the morning, I don't want to then have to do anything afterwards. Like, this might, well, I guess I could chop up all the vegetables and stuff earlier in the day, but like, if you're going to do carnitas tacos on a corn tortilla, you have to warm up the corn tortillas. Maybe I could try this, though. What I like to do that's quite similar to carnitas, oh, it feels pretty similar to carnitas tacos. We will get the frozen fish fillets that you can get like at the store that are already cooked. My partner has an issue with like scent-triggered migraines, and the smell of cooking fish can trigger that. Thankfully, we did the salmon yesterday. It was a little bit of an experiment on that front. I was like, can I try cooking salmon and see if it makes you feel sick? Did not make him feel sick. So I can cook salmon in the house, it seems. But because that was an issue for a little bit, I will get those frozen, you know, they're like this big, the frozen fish, like breaded patties. I will put those in the oven. And then everything else in the taco is like fresh. So I have fresh cabbage that I've sliced. I have fresh onions cut up, or I'll maybe do a quick pickle onion is what I usually do. A quick pickle onion. Of course, some kind of salsa. And crema. I usually do a chipotle crema. And that's kind of my like fish tacos, and then the corn tortillas. So yeah, that's kind of my like super duper easy fish tacos thing. One taco, one fish stick, crema, onions, cabbage, salsa. Yum. It's delicious. I'm going to eat last night's rice with a little sauteed chicken and broccoli. Yummy. I decided to keep a little bit of the salmon back so that I could eat it today. I haven't yet. Maybe I'll save it till tomorrow, but I cooked basically a full half of a salmon, and I saved the little bit of the tail for like, oh, I'm going to eat that for lunch this week. Trying to eat healthier lunches and stuff. Crema. Crema is kind of like sour cream, but it's like more loose. It's a little bit more like a fluid, and also a little bit less sour than sour cream. Crema. And you take some just dry chipotle powder and put it in the crema and mix it all up, and oh boy, is that delicious and yummy and tasty. Oh, I only just noticed that there's only 30 people here. Lamau, what's up? Glad everybody's here watching me talk. I'm so fucking tired. Yum. I've been on like 100% frozen Trader Joe's Chinese food on rice lately. Nice. You can't get rid of me that easily. Yeah. I feel like I've gotten really fairly efficient with my dinner making, and I don't usually fully sit down and do the full month, but I can fully schedule a full month of food and make sure that I know what I'm eating ahead of time and everything. I was kind of considering starting to meal plan my lunches as well, because I could plan like, ooh, I know that I usually have a little bit of extra this and that, so why don't I just plan to have that for lunch tomorrow? That's kind of what the plan was with cooking the fillet of salmon and being like, okay, yeah, I can plan for my lunch tomorrow. Even if I am ready to eat a horse. Interested to hear the slow curry setup. Mine is coconut milk, a curry spice mix we pre-make, fresh ginger and tamarind, then onion and starch and protein on top of rice. I do a fairly lengthy process of like sauteing an onion and then sauteing the spices and periodically adding water to loosen everything up, and then the water evaporates off again. So like building a curry base is something that can take a long time. And like I do a different spice blend every time, and you add whole spices before you add the ground spices, and yeah, it's a whole process. Extra large T-bone with 10 eggs and half a stick of butter. Yeah, when you're ready to die. That feel when you're ready to die. Is that what that is? That's your suicide plan? I'm gonna go out with a bang. And by that I mean my heart is gonna explode. I just was listening to something, and there was like a restaurant that has a meal called the heart attack. And it's like that. And I'm like, how is it legal for you to sell that? And why do people buy it? Why do people buy a food that's called a heart attack? And like presumably because they understand the health risks of eating it, and then they do it. And then they're like, yeah, baby. And it's very strange. Do way more people want to die than I realized? Are there just more people who yearn for the mines than I realized? Like, I don't know. I kind of spliced my metaphors there with the children yearn for the mines. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm so done. Oh, my God. Sorry. Nothing good is going to happen after I leave here, so I'm just like, I'll stay on until 6 when I'm supposed to leave. That's when I'm supposed to leave, is 6. Runny fried egg on a bacon cheeseburger. I was just reading an article that vindicated me. I was correct. I have been avoiding eating runny yolk because of bird flu and because it can live inside the yolk. And so like that's why you want to cook it to like the finished temperature of whatever you cook eggs to the temperature of. And I was just reading something that vindicated me that yes, you can catch bird flu from undercooked eggs. So I was like, haha, I really am sad because I miss having access to fucking, I liked having soft boiled eggs and shit. But, yeah. So that's a fun fact for you. Although I'm getting all of my eggs now locally from like my husband's coworker. So, oh, I need to give him cash to figure that out. Do I have $5? That's a great question. Like, hey, will you get me some more eggs? I do have a 5 in here. I'm gonna be like, hey, baby, pick me up another dozen eggs from your coworker, please. I would like them. Coddled eggs are so perfect in a Caesar salad, though. I know, it's very sad. I'm very sad. I love a runny yolk and like soft boiled eggs and stuff, but girlish, not worth it. Hi, boy. Are you boy? Yeah. Over medium or hard on a bagel with cheese sounds better and like less work than the curry. That's so true. Decriminalize eggs. Yeah. What do you want? What? Meow. Do you want up here? You're just gonna hate me for it again. I'll do it, but you're gonna be upset. Okay, come on. Ugh. There we go. This is the time that it is, which is the time for him to be up here, I guess. Hi, Mr. Baby. Yeah, are you a good boy? I think I may get a burrito for lunch today, but ugh, I want snackies. True. I have some leftover pot roast from like last week that I probably should eat. I know that dinner is being cooked tonight, but it probably won't be ready for another couple hours. So maybe when I get off stream, I'll go heat up some pot roast leftovers, which is mostly just vegetables. We don't usually leave much of the meat left. We eat all the meat and then there's more potatoes. Hi. What do you want? Oh my god, what are you doing? What are you doing? The midnight chonker. What chonks at midnight? You can't see him. He's licking me. Lick me, Mr. Baby. This is what life is like, Mr. Chonkers. Is your bort hole just fully... Okay, put that away. Thank you. He really did try to put his bort hole right up in my face earlier today. Oh, yeah? You're really gross. Avocado in an omelet rules? Ooh! Haha! Pot roast. I thought people usually smoked it, but it's true. Do cats know their names? I think that he thinks his name is Mr. or the boy. But also, he kind of can't hear very well, so I don't know if he knows. He responds when I go... Because he can actually hear that. Yeah, cats can show hole on stream, but Mephi can't. I know, it's so transphobic. Are you a good boy? Are you my favorite boy? Are you my favorite by default boy? Believe it or not, he actually really likes this. I'm just like mashing his ears around and he kind of loves it. What's wrong with you? I thought when you take testosterone, you can't do the kitty cat noises anymore. I made Kissy sound go... You just... Yeah, because see, he can hear me. Still don't get the hype about avocados. Maybe I can't taste the magic they have or something. They're not like amazing as far as things that taste good, but I like the texture. And especially when you put, like, if you make just like a simple guac, and like I have the cilantro problem. So when I make a simple guac, I mean literally it's just avocado, salt, and lime juice. And it's really good. Yeah, Faulty Branches is about to lose the race for the governor of California on account of the avocado comment. Here, kitty kitty in a high pitch. That's called falsetto. Kitty 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 kitty. You can still do it. You don't respond to that, do you? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, he's such a boy. No soap cilantro to balance the acid, I see. The balancing the acid is all the fat in the avocado. Why you need cilantro? You don't need cilantro. Not gonna lie, there were a few times I absently patted my cat without looking and got a handful of scratchy cat anus. Can't say I've ever had that happen before. Why are you so strange? Remember, cats are a ferrofluid. True. Especially black cats. Black cats are the most ferrofluided. Ferrofluid. Magnets. How do they work? Mr. Baby. How do you feel being the cat butt of the joke? Ha! I feel like I'll live. Oh yeah, you kiss kiss? You kiss kiss, pretty boy? Yeah. You pat the butt. You smack the butt. Kitty cat smack the butt. Bat butt. Smack the butt. Yeah, that sounds about right. You're such a weirdo. Did someone just ask a physics question? Did someone ask a physics question? Oh, hello. Oh, hello. What are we doing? What are you doing? You getting your nails stuck? What are you doing? Yeah, exactly. Cats do love sticking their butts in your face, like what he's doing right now. What is wrong with you? You're such a weirdo. What a strange little guy. I wonder if because cats can see in the dark, they think we just suddenly become stupid sometimes. True. It's lovely to see how loved you are. Yeah, well, he's a spoiled little... And he wants attention from me more than he wants attention from anyone else, it seems. I don't really know what that's about. What is wrong with you? Why are you so strange? You baby. You kiss, kiss, kiss. No, come here. I was trying to see if you could hear him going. You're such a weirdo. Why are you so weird? I think cats see us like we're big dumb cats, which is ironic, seeing as we treat them like dumb little humans. That's true. Are you a good boy? Mwah, 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 mwah. Okay, guys. I guess we're pretty much reaching a natural conclusion where I don't have anything else of interest to say the rest of the stream if I stay here. Well, I don't know. Do we $53? I'll stay on. Do we want to get to the end of the show and see what's in the treasure chest back there? I'm still taking donations if you want. Do you want the boy to have cat treats and cat food forever? Do you want to help me be able to afford to adopt another cat? Because that's going to cost a couple $100 probably. Are you a good boy? A good baby? I treat my cats like diabolical evil overlords. My cat is a baby. My cat is innocent. He does not understand crime. You do not understand crime, do you, sir? Do you, mister? Do you understand crime? I'm hanging until 8 p.m. at the latest because that's when my shift is over. I gotta go to the gym. Yeah, I usually go until 8 your time, but I don't know. I'm just not really... Just don't have anything else interesting to say today. You're so loud. I will get him his own lavalier mic one of these days. Working on it. My cats have planned my assassination already. They tried to enact Plan D earlier. Oh no. They're deep in. They're on Plan D. They've been plotting against you for some time now. Are you Mr. Baby? Are you a good boy? Okay, well, everybody tell Mr. Mitternacht that he's a good boy. And that he deserves all the butt pats. And everything else that he loves to have. And then we will go. And we will say good night. Goodbye, everybody. You good boy. Cat sent me falling down the stairs and I almost broke my hand. Jesus Christ. What group did you just start, Mephi? If we're on our way out. Good night, Drea. Never mind. Okay. Okay, never mind then. Little baby says good night. Goodbye. Goodbye. I'll see you all on Sunday, probably. I don't have any other plans between now and then. Okay, goodbye. Well, I'll upload a video tomorrow, probably. I'll tag you for that. Okay, bye.